And if you have any friends and students at Florida State, any RSOs, agencies, clubs, anything you may be a part of that you feel like a student, may want to learn some information about how to vote, how to get registered to vote, that's the purpose of this voter registration drive this Friday. Because in the state of Florida, October 5th is the deadline. So we want to help make sure as many people as possible who want to be registered for this election get that opportunity. The second thing I wanted to address is dress code. So, I've been pretty chillaxed about it for the past couple weeks, but it is completely inappropriate for us as senators to be senators and not dress as such. We are in these positions because we're supposed to represent students, and we hold ourselves to a higher standard, whether it's professionalism, whether it's morally, whatever it may be, we hold ourselves to a higher standard. And so when I see senators wearing t-shirts, senators wearing tank tops, senators, with their camera look like, at them in a very non-flattering way, it's not appropriate for us, for our guests, and for anybody that is in this call. So I think that that's something that each person, I'm not, calling any individual out specifically, but each person take a moment and reflect on how you present yourself on camera, how you present yourself in your attire. And that's very important. Beyond that, I did want to say that for attendance, as always, if you can't make it to committee meeting, Senate meeting, submit your absentee form. And then finally, I was notified by the pro temp, that by him being notified by Senator Yanam, that there will be a reporter on the call. I personally am not sure what the name of the reporter is, or who they may be, but there is the potential for a reporter being on the call. And due to our statutes and our rules, if I am aware of that, I need to make you all aware. So yeah, I hope you are all aware of that. So with that being said, we will move into the Pledge of Allegiance. Senator Leckie, will you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Yes. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. And with that, may we all take a moment of silence to remember all the lives lost to COVID-19, all the students who were lost to COVID-19, and even there's a student recently who passed away. Her name was Catherine Gooding. I know that a few senators may have known her, but please, take a moment of silence to recognize and honor those lives, please. So with that being said, Pro Tempore, you may go ahead with the roll call when you're ready.
All right. Senator Adam Meek, Murcia, and Akonda. Murcia, Adam Meek, Akonda, not here. Senator Bateman, Gertz, Little, Selva. Gertz, Little, Selva. Bateman. All right, no Bateman. Fahey, Rossi, Mouget, Shaler. Shaler, Mouget. Fahey or Rossi. Senator Wilkinson, Promosic, England. Wilkinson, England. Promosic. All right. Senator Wang, Hazlett, Yanam. Oh, sorry, Hazlett is suspended, my bad. Yanam. Senator Rigodel and Senator Leckie. A. Gonzalez Denton. I got Rigodel. I got A. Gonzalez, Leckie, and Denton. Awesome. Senator Martin, Pendleton, Abstin. Yeah, Pendleton, Abstin. My bad. All right, Martin, Pendleton, Abstin. Got Abstin. I believe I saw Pendleton. There we go. Senator Ferguson, Mayman, Dean. Mayman, Dean, Ferguson. All right. Senator Pedroso, Rudolph, Medley, Nera. Got Rudolph. No Pedroso. Senator Ross, Chabot, and Klink. All right, I got Chabot, no Ross, Klink, Senator Alvarez, Waters, Stinson, R. Gonzalez. Waters. Oh, I'm sorry. I missed you, Adams. I got you now. Okay. R. Gonzalez. I got Alvarez and Waters. There you go. And Senator Rudd, Randall, and Soto. No Rudd. Randall. Oh, I see Randall. Okay. And Soto. Senator Soto. Okay, I see them here. Okay. All right. Just give me 1 second to count. We do have quorum.
Thank you, Pro Tempore, for verifying quorum. For the corrections and approval of the journal from 9/23/20, we are going to hold off on that motion because the journal has not been posted. The clerk had a technical issue where he kind of, said he saved his document. It didn't work out as he thought, and kind of he had to redo the minutes based off of the recording of the Senate meeting. So we were basically just awaiting that journal and those minutes to come through. And so there truly is nothing that we can do at this time in that regard. So we can't really do anything in that regard. So I'm just going to move forward. We won't be accepting the journal this week. We'll accept both journals next week for this week and last week. And if any senator has any objection, please let me know. I hope you can understand the technical difficulty, but if you object, that's your right. And if you have an objection, just let me know. And you can raise your hand and say as such. But if you do not, we will move forward to the students and non-budgeted RSO comments. I did not see any students who signed up for student and non-budgeted RSO comment. However, if there are any students present who would wish to make such statements, please raise your hands. We will start off with Jonathan Marcus. Mr. Marcus, whenever you're ready.
I come to the Senate floor tonight emotionally exasperated. While the effects of the pandemic have been draining for everyone, it hit me especially hard earlier in the summer when I had family members hospitalized. As a result, I have been rather outspoken about the social distancing guidelines and taking precautions. However, I am deeply disturbed by what I have seen from my fellow members of the FSU community. Our peers have been packing into nightclubs and bars and parties. Nightclubs, bars, and house parties without masks and without COVID precautions. As a result, the Tallahassee community is hurting. We have been identified as a COVID hotspot, and there are news headlines among national sources entitled, "Tallahassee Police Break Up 1,000-Person Party at Florida State University." Beyond damaging our public image, this lack of care harms people. There are students, alumni, families, faculty members, and Tallahassee community members who have been directly afflicted by the effects of the virus. People have been bedridden, hospitalized, and have even died. Today, the Earth, Oceanic, and Atmospheric Sciences Department grieves the loss of one of our own students, Catherine Gooding. Today, I received the news that one of my classmates is dead. So tonight, I ask everyone listening to please take this pandemic seriously. Just because a politician worried about the color of his state in November decided to reopen the bars and the clubs, so that does not mean it is safe to go in them. The pandemic is not over just because we are tired of it, and students are hurting. Students need exemplary leadership in this time of crisis, and I humbly ask that senators lead by example and ensure that they and the people they surround themselves with do not enter these COVID crowded spaces. Please and thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Marquez. Shayna Cohen.
Hello? You guys hear me? Thank you. Hi, I'm Shayna Cohen. I was been coming to public comments since before it was cool, and I'm still coming even though it's not as popular anymore. I appreciate all of the senators that are here tonight. I just wanted to say that I really appreciate all of the work that you do. I wanted to remind you that if you ever want any research requests, we've gotten some from members of student government, especially regarding COVID numbers compared to other parts of the state. Anything related to any legislation or projects that you're working on, we're always more than happy to help and reach out. Never forget the resources available to you. You can always just Google FSU SGA Constitution and it'll pop right up for you to review as you want. You can always ask the judiciary branch for a formal advisory opinion on anything you have at the table. And again, I'm just really hoping that the senators tonight continue to do good work, prioritize the needs of the student body as a whole when you make your decisions. And again, reach out to Torchlight if you ever want any help with legislative analysis or research requests for your stuff. Have a wonderful Senate.
Thank you, Ms. Cohen. With that, are there any other students or non-budgeted RSOs wishing to make a comment at this time? Seeing none, we'll move forward into the special introduction and announcements. I do not have anybody on the docket for tonight to be speaking to us on the calendar. With that, we'll go into messages from the executive branch. I know Vice President Anastasia Janvier should be on the call. So with that, Vice President Janvier, whenever you're ready to give your executive branch comment, we welcome it. I would just please ask that you just inform us on what's been going on in regards to FSU PD with Title IX and just the projects you've been working on that kind of work hand in hand with the Student Senate, just to make sure that we're all on the same page. I appreciate it.
Good evening. Thank you for that. I am so excited to be here with you guys once again. I'm extending a warm welcome from the executive branch. I am happy to see you all this evening, but more importantly, I'm really glad that you guys are in good spirit and good health. With that, I want to go into some of the updates from the executive branch. I won't go into too many details because we do have a long, thorough outline of all our updates monthly from our monthly town hall that are available on the SGA Instagram page. And if you don't have Instagram, it's free online if you just Google it and you'll see it on there. So that being said, just a quick update with some of the initiatives that we're working with. We're working with campus safety and public safety overall in the Tallahassee community with FSU PD and TPD in regards to releasing police report cards, also independent investigation of the TPD, and also a lot of other things. But all in all, we're making tremendous progress. And again, I'm going to refer you guys to look at the town hall meeting to get more in nitty-gritty details. And also, if you want to reach out to me personally or anybody within the executive branch, we're more than willing to accept one-on-ones, visit us at our office hours. We love that. I know some people pop into my Zoom. I appreciate it. So we're always extending that. Second thing, we had our roundtable discussion with stakeholders in regards to Title IX conversations and implementation plans for what the future looks like. That happened on September 23rd, and I'm so excited to shout out Colby and Alexa for organizing that meeting and essentially bringing together what are resources that are working, figuring out what resources have existed but no longer work with the culture and climate that we currently live in, and we're trying to figure out where we want to go as a community together. And within that piece, a lot of other activism pieces and advocacy efforts are happening within the association, not only through the executive branch, but through our agencies and our bureaus. So again, I extend a warm welcome to all of you senators and also participants who are on the call. to just reach out to us via email. We're always one email away. Beyond that, I want to remind everyone on this call that we have an opportunity that is a lot different than other circumstances that we have dealt with in our society. Going through a global pandemic and also high tensions within racial inequality issues, I think it's important for us to lean on each other and community during this time. I'm going to re-emphasize the importance of community building and conversations with people. You don't just build relationships overnight. We don't just connect over one conversation. It takes intentional work to do that. So I advise and I implore you all to seek out conversations with people who look like you, who don't look like you, people who think like you, people who are on the opposite spectrum of what you think, to build community during this time, because one way or another, we are all going through something that is providing an obstacle or a challenge, and it's important that we lean on each other in order to navigate these situations. In tandem with that, I know right now we're in a very big transition, whether we're talking within our institution or within student government in regards to leadership and understanding this culture right now. I want to implore you guys again, when difficult times comes about, when controversy comes about, talk to each other. There is nothing more powerful than being able to navigate conflict, more particularly social conflict, together. Because again, at the end of the day, we are the community that makes up FSU. Whether we like it or not, we're all on one team, right? So with that being said, I again want to extend my email, Jonathan's email, Christian email out to all of you guys. My email can be found on the SGA website. I'll also drop it in the chat. And I love you guys. I love the work that you guys are doing. Remain positive, remain hopeful, and continue the amazing work. Good night, everyone.
Thank you, Madam Vice President. So with that being said, I don't believe there are any other comments from the executive branch. We appreciate the updates, Vice President Jean-Pierre. So with that, we will go into messages from the agency and bureau directors, SGA organization, officers, and employees. Are there any messages from the agencies and bureau directors, SGA organization, officers, and employees? Seeing none, we'll move forward to messages from the executive cabinet. Are there any members from the executive cabinet who would like to make a message tonight? Seeing none, again, we will move forward to the messages from the class councils. Messages from the class councils. All right, messages from the Congress of Graduate Students. Messages from the Congress of Graduate Students. Messages from the judicial branch. Any messages from the judicial branch? All right, messages from the Union Board and SOAR Board. All right, seeing none, messages from the Campus Recreation Board. Any messages from the Campus Recreation Board? All right, with none, we will go into the report of the SGA Accounting Office. The remaining balance for Senate projects is $32,000. The remaining balance for the Program Allocation Committee is $48,411. And for the Resource Travel Allocation Committee, there's $60,000, and the organizational fund has $4,000. Are there any committee reports for reports of Senate liaisons? I apologize. Any senators wishing to make a report as a liaison? Senator Soto, you have not been appointed yet as a liaison in regards to Pride, so you won't be able to make a report because you're not serving in that capacity yet. Does that make sense, Senator Soto? All right, we'll move forward. Senator Gonzalez.
Yes, thank you. So the Black Student Union is having an event called Real Talk on Monday, October 5th at 6:30 p.m. And it's going to be a dialogue surrounding the issues faced by the community as they work towards unity. So I suggest that everyone come out. It should be really enlightening. And you can find all the details for that on the Instagram FSU_BSU.
Thank you, Chair Gonzalez. Chair Dean, the HLSU liaison.
Thank you very much, President Dardeek. Just wanted to put it on everyone's radar that they're going to be having, well, it has been Hispanic Heritage Month. So on that terms, they've been hosting a multitude of Zoom events, trying to make it as interactive as possible. And there should be one, I think, tomorrow as well. So stay tuned to their Instagram. I'll be dropping it in the group chat as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair Dean. Chair Martin, the liaison for Peace Jam.
Hello, everybody. So with Peace Jam, we have mentor applications open. So basically what being a mentor is that people from all over the Southeast, middle school and high school, usually come to FSU for a weekend, but it's going to be virtual. So having the opportunity to mentor middle school and high school students, the application has been extended to October 13th, and you can find information on our Instagram and the center website if anybody is interested.
Thank you, Chair Martin. Are there any further liaison reports? No, am I muted? No. Okay. Now, seeing none, we will move forward to the report of committees. Judiciary, Chair Leckie, whenever you're ready. Thank you.
Yeah, so we met yesterday night and we talked about Bill 82. It's still tabled in Judiciary. Vice Chair Chabot stepped down and we elected Renee Wang, Senator Wang, as our Vice Chair. So, yeah.
Congratulations, Vice Chair Wang. I appreciated your minutes. I looked over them. They looked really good. So great job with your first minutes. With that, the Oversight Committee, Chair Gonzalez, whenever you're ready.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. The Oversight Committee met yesterday at 5 p.m. We tabled candidate Rudd for OGA Board of Directors, and we passed Brianna Brewer and Raven Tucker for OGA Board of Directors, and they are on the floor tonight.
Thank you, Chair Gonzalez. Report of the Finance Committee, Chair Adamique, whenever you're ready.
Thank you, Mr. President. Finance met on Monday at 8:30, and Bill 87 was withdrawn. PAC and RTAC did not meet, so we didn't have any consent resolutions. And we had 2 candidates for PAC, which were tabled because they did not show up.
Thank you, Chair Adamique. With that, the report of the committee from SLAW, Chair Martin.
So SLAW met at 5 p.m. on Monday. We didn't go over any business, so we had to table everything. That's it.
Thank you, Chair Martin, for the report. With that, rules met prior to Senate. Chair Harmon, Pro Temp Harmon.
So rules met at 5 p.m. earlier today. We amended and passed Resolution 69, which you'll hear on the floor tonight. All other legislation is tabled because the sponsors did not show up. We're just hoping they will eventually. Other than that, we had a great meeting, and we'll be meeting next week at 6 o'clock rather than 5 o'clock. Thank you.
I'm muted. Report of the Budget Committee. Chair Dean, did you guys meet this week? If not, just let us know, because then you don't have to do a report.
Yeah, so we're actually having budget week next week, so I want to put that on everyone's radar. So very excited. We're going to be meeting on Thursday, tomorrow at 5 p.m. just to kind of go over some last minute preparations and etc. But it's not going to be a real official meeting. We don't have any legislation, and that's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair Dean. Just to echo what Chair Dean said, Budget Week is one of the most important and just amazing things that we get to do as a Senate body. You know, as a legislative body, we have the opportunity to appropriate and distribute $13+ million in ANS fee funds to organizations that will directly benefit students. So if you care about students, you know, you want to see where the money that you're paying as a student goes, I definitely encourage you all to just take an opportunity and even go to one hearing if you're available throughout Budget Week, just to see what the process looks like, get an opportunity to see that. And if you're able to to go to deliberations. I'm not sure if the chair dean is going to welcome everybody because deliberations is a little more intense, but I encourage you all to take at least one time throughout this upcoming week during budget week to just go and see how that process works, because it is one of our most important things that we do, because it's literally giving students their money back. So with that being said, I don't believe any of the other committees met. So we will be moving forward, unless I don't think I missed a committee, to the Senate confirmations. So we have 2 candidates for Senate confirmations tonight, senators. We have candidate Brianna Brewer and candidate Raven Tucker. Both are for the OGA Board of Directors. And so with that, candidate Brewer and candidate Tucker, could you please raise your hands so that I can unmute you all so you can do your opening statements and such. Candidate Brewer, candidate Tucker. Oh, no, not on the, it's okay. I found you, candidate Tucker. It's the unmute button.
Sorry.
No worries. But so basically how the process will go tonight, please, both of you, ensure that your mic is not muted throughout your interview. Make sure it's not muted, it stays unmuted. But with that, you're going to start off with 5 minutes for your opening statement. Anything you don't use in regards to in regards to that time will be left for your closing statement. After your opening statement is done, we will move into technical non-debatable questions, where any senator can ask you technical non-debatables, and then we'll move into questions in regards to your position, and then questions in regard to your character. And after we do both of those items, you'll be given an opportunity to make a closing statement. And after your closing statement, we will forward each one of you individually, and as a Senate, take a vote on you individually. And then after both of you are either confirmed or denied, whatever occurs tonight, basically, if you're confirmed, you will be sworn in by the pro tempore with the oath of office. Do either of you guys have any questions about how the process will go tonight?
No.
No.
All right, so with that being said, you both will have 5 minutes for your opening statements. Candidate Tucker, whenever you're ready, you can begin.
Hello everyone, my name is Raven Tucker. I'm from Broward County, Florida, and I'm a second-year student in the CARE program here at Florida State University. I'm majoring in political science, and after my time here at Florida State is complete, I intend to go on to law school, where I will fulfill my dream of being a lawyer.
Thank you, candidate Tucker. Yields with 4 minutes and 45 seconds to her closing statement. Candidate Brewer, you have 5 minutes for your opening statement whenever you're ready.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Brianna Brewer. I am a third-year, first-generation college student from Jacksonville, Florida, majoring in criminology and African American studies. Post-graduation, I plan to attend Howard University and granted get my master's in educational leadership and policy. I am the former Black Student Union Alumni Affairs Director, and I am the current Amplify Movement Outreach Director. I thank you guys for having me tonight, and I yield the rest of my time for closing.
Thank you, candidate Brewer, yielding 4 minutes and 8 seconds to your closing statement. So with that being said, senators, are there any technical non-debatable questions for either candidate? Chair Dean.
For both candidates, are you financially certified?
Candidate Tucker?
No.
Candidate Brewer?
Yes, I am.
All right. Are there any further technical non-debatable questions, senators? If there are no technical non-debatable questions, I'll entertain a motion to go into questions in regards to the candidate's position.
So moved.
Is there a second to that motion? Senator Waters.
So seconded.
All right, with that, are there any objections to go into questions in regards to the candidate's position? Seeing no objections, we are now in the questioning round in regards to position for both candidates. Are there any questions in regard to the candidate's position, senators? If there is, please raise your hand. If the senators do not have any questions, I will entertain a motion to go into questions in regards to the character of the candidates. Senator Waters.
So moved.
Is there a second? Chair Gonzalez.
So seconded.
All right, with that, is there any objection to us going into the questions in regard to character for both candidates? All right, seeing none, we are now in character questions. Senators, do you have any questions in regards to character? Chair Dean.
Sorry, point of information. What position are each of the candidates applying for?
OGA Board of Directors, both of them. Both candidates are going for OGA.
Okay, sorry.
Are there any, excuse me, tongue twisted, but are there any questions in regards to the candidate's character at this time? If there are no questions in regard to character, I'll entertain a motion to forward the candidates individually. Senator England,
Move to forward the candidates individually.
is there a second to that motion? Senator Shaler.
So seconded.
All right, with that, is there any objections? Seeing no objections, both candidates have been forwarded individually. So with that, you'll both be given an opportunity to make your closing statements. And once you make your closing statements, the Senate will take a vote on each candidate. So with that, candidate Brewer, you can start us off with 4 minutes and 8 seconds left to your closing statement whenever you're ready.
Thank you all for having me here today. I am more than excited if granted the position, and I look forward to doing work for the university, the state of Florida, and everybody else. Thank you so much, and I yield the rest of my time.
Thank you, candidate Brewer. With that, Ms. Tucker, whenever you're ready, you have the 4 minutes and 45 seconds you yielded.
Thank you everyone for having me on your Senate floor tonight. I look forward to serving in this position if selected. I yield the rest of my time.
Thank you, candidates. So with that, senators, that is our closing statements. So candidates, I'm going to ask you to state your name and the position you're going for. And once you do so, senators, you will be in line to vote. We'll start with candidate Brewer. Can you please state your name and the position you're going for?
My name is Brianna Brewer, and I am going for the Office of Governmental Affairs Board of Directors.
All right, senators, vote yes for yes, no for no, and go faster for abstention on the candidate.
Gonna need 6 more votes. Oh, said 5, I think. Yeah. Senator Rigadell, you haven't voted. Senator Wilkinson. Three more votes. I don't know who's missing. Somebody must have left then. Okay, well, I'm gonna take pictures of these because there's a lot.
Shanahan, I don't know if Shanahan is.
No, he's suspended, unfortunately. I believe. I mean, unless he passed, but.
That's the only person that's a senator that I didn't see a vote.
Okay. Okay, 1 second. There's a problem with one senator's vote. Okay, just change it now and I'll note it down. All right. All right, with 13 yes, 6 no, 6 abstentions, the candidate does pass. Wait, let me actually, just kidding. Let me make sure.
I think is right over the abstention threshold. Oh, it went down to 6. Okay, never mind.
Okay, I believe we do have to do a revote then,
Mhm.
because the abstentions are above 25%.
They're at 20. They were at 20.
Yeah. Okay. So we're gonna revote. If y'all feel like abstaining again, that's fine, but just know that after the third vote, this candidate will fail, no matter what. So.
Harmon, I guess, do you think that it only applies to bills when it comes to that abstention rule?
Well, Oversight did it in their other committee meeting, I believe, when I read the minutes. They revoted on candidates because of abstention. So I'm just following by that. The candidate's name is Brianna Brewer, for any senators that did not catch that. But keep voting. Go ahead. Keep voting. Senator Randall. All right, hold on. Let me take pictures. Don't change your vote. And if you do want to change your vote, let me know, and then you can change it quickly and I'll note it. But Senator Randall, I'm about to take a picture. If you want to vote now, real quick. All right.
This is at 23%, so.
All right. With 15 yes, 5 no, 6 abstentions, this candidate does pass. Congratulations.
Congratulations, candidate Brewer. Please stay on the call until the oath of office. So with that being said, congrats. And now, candidate Tucker, could you please state your name and the position you're going for?
My name is Raven Tucker, and I'm applying to be a board of director for the Office of Governmental Affairs.
Thank you, Ms. Tucker. So with that being said, senators, you are all now in line to vote. Yes for yes, no for no, and go faster for abstention.
Senator Gertz, vote. Senator Mujay. All right, give me a second. All right. Vote reads 19 yes, 3 no, 4 abstentions. Candidate does pass. Congratulations.
Congratulations, Ms. Tucker. Congratulations, candidate Brewer. So with that, you have both been confirmed by the Senate. However, Pro Tem Harmon, whenever you're ready, you can swear both candidates in with the oath of office.
Do y'all mind if I get to the thing to read? Actually, no, I know. Before you take the oath of office, you may choose to replace the words "so help me God" with "on pain of impeachment." Do you understand?
Yes.
All right. Second. All right. Please raise your right hand. Oh, the candidate Brewer is muted right now. Okay, there we go. All right. I, please state your name.
I, Brianna Brewer,
I, Raven Tucker,
Promise to support and defend the Constitution of the United States,
promise to support and defend the Constitution of the United States,
promise to support and defend the Constitution of the United States,
the state of Florida,
the state of Florida,
the state of Florida,
and the Florida State University student body.
and the Florida State University student body.
And I should, oh, sorry, my bad. I apologize.
and the Florida State University student body.
And shall, to the best of my ability, oh, I apologize. And I shall perform my duties to the best of my ability.
And I shall perform my duties to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ooh, that was tough.
Congratulations, candidates. So with that being said, you are both now confirmed and can start getting to work with the agents, or with the Bureau, I apologize, the Office of Governmental Affairs. I look forward to seeing the work that you do. I look forward to working with you all in regards to the legislative agenda. With that being said, if you have any questions, you can ask them. But if you do not, you can both hop off the call if you'd like. But beyond that, yeah, thank you all for coming. Yeah, and then senators can give them a clap. You know, they deserve it. Welcome. Congratulations. So with that, senators, is there a motion to unlock the calendar to go to Resolution 86? Senator Gonzalez.
So moved.
Is there a second? Chair Dean.
So seconded.
All right. With that being said, are there any objections to the unlocking of the calendar? Seeing none, we are in resolutions. We are on Resolution 86. Resolution 86 is referred to the Rules and Calendar Committee. And so with that being said, Chair Gonzalez.
I move to enter rules and calendar as a whole to hear Resolution 86.
All right. Is there a second to that motion? Senator Waters.
So seconded.
Are there any objections to going into committee as a whole for Resolution 86? Seeing no objections, Senator Randall, do you object?
Yes, Mr. President. Yes, I do.
So with that being said, it'll be treated like it'll be treated as if it's a bill, and it's debatable because, you know, this motion is debatable because there's now.
Can I ask a point of information quick, Mr. Senate President?
All right. What's your point of information, Senator Randall?
Mr. President, my point of information is, have we received an advisory opinion from the Supreme Court?
No, sir. We'll
on
still,
the,
no, not at this time.
Okay, thank you, Mr. President.
All right. So with that, the motion has been objected to. Therefore, Senator Gonzalez, the individual, the senator who made that motion, you will have 5 minutes to present in regards to why you believe we should go into committee as a whole for rules and calendar. And so with that being said, this will be treated as a bill. And so therefore we will have pro-con debate. We will have technical non-debatables and all the exciting things that come with it. So Chair Gonzalez, you have 5 minutes on the clock whenever you're ready.
Thank you, Mr. President. So basically, we all were here. Well, most of us were here last Senate Wednesday when we were talking about the reconsideration of the candidates and about Rule 1010 specifically, that says that the things that when the committees hear the candidates in committee, it is simply a recommendation and not a final decision. And all committee decisions as it relates to candidates are not final, which means that candidates, if they are failed, still have to be heard on the Senate floor. So obviously, according to precedent, it has long been done for the past 3 years, maybe even more, that the committee decisions are final and we do not have to hear them on a Senate floor. And there's just an inherent, what's the word? I can't think of the word right now, but it's just a conflict between the rules of procedure because one is saying one thing and the other saying another. So we wanted to kind of address this because the Supreme Court cannot give an advisory opinion until the court is full, and we won't have a full court unless we figure out what to do with this rule. So, there's a kind of conflict in that. So I think this would be the easiest way to kind of resolve this is hearing this resolution and figuring out what we want to do as a Senate body moving forward. So with that, I yield.
Thank you, Senator. Yields with 3 minutes and 33 seconds to your closing statement. With that, are there any technical non-debatable questions for the sponsor of this motion? Senator Randall, did you have a technical non-debatable question?
Yes. Actually, I have a point of information for the sponsor. That's all right. Or would you like to wait on those?
We get into a pro-con debate.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
No worries. But are there any technical non-debatable questions, senators? Seeing no technical non-debatable questions, is there a motion to go into pro-con debate on the motion? Senator Wang.
So moved.
Chair Dean.
So seconded.
All right, are there any objections to going into pro-con debate on the motion? All right, now that we are in pro-con debate, seeing no objections, Senator Randall, you may go ahead and make your point. It was a point of information.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Senate President. Sponsor, I just have a quick question. My real concern is whether is the constitutionality of this. There was some serious concern raised informally, and when I read the Constitution and statutes regarding the legality of doing things like this and changing things without approval from the student body, is your intention just right now to go ahead and change the rules and address that later, or what is your intention with this motion in regards to that? Thank you, sponsor.
Oh, you're muted, sponsor.
Thank you, Pro Temp. If I'm hearing correctly, you're asking what my intentions are with this bill, but since this is a motion simply to go into the committee, I would just say that we need to get this addressed as soon as possible, and this is the fastest way to get it addressed.
So, senators, because there was an objection, looking over the rules with the Pro Temp, under my understanding now, reading over them again, that there is no need to go into debate on the objection. So it just requires a 2/3 vote of the Senate to overrule the objection. So prior, it just needed the consent, but because there's an objection, we just need a 2/3 vote. So with that being said, senators, you are all in line to vote. Yes, to go into committee as a whole. No, not to go to committee as a whole. And go faster if you feel like you'd like to abstain.
Okay, there should be 26 votes. So once we reach that, that's when we Senator Rigadell, you haven't voted. This is the vote to go into rules and calendar as a whole, if y'all didn't hear. Senator Adams, Wilkinson. All right, just give me a second while I take pictures. All right. Did somebody leave? Okay. Well, all right. So vote reads 11 yes, 9 no, 5 abstentions. Unfortunately, I believe that is not 2/3.
Yeah, it's not. So with that, I will be seeing that it failed. This resolution is sent to Rules and Calendar Committee. Therefore, Rules and Calendar will take it upon themselves to, hear it hopefully next week in Rules and Calendar. But with that being said, is there any senator who's wishing to call the orders of the day? Senator Leckie.
I call for the orders of the day.
All right. So with that, there's no need for a second. There's no need for anything else. Or is there a second, actually? We do need a second for the calls. No, we don't. Nope. You need nothing else but the motion. And so with that, we're directly sent to the orders of the calendar. And we're back where we were, which is after confirmations. Senator Dean, did you have a point? Did you have a point, Senator Dean, or no?
No, I did not. Sorry.
All right. So with that being said, we are back at the order of the calendar. We just confirmed 2 candidates. Consent calendar, PAC and RTEC did not meet this week. Bills on first reading. Bill 87, sponsored by Senator England, amending student body statutes, Chapter 802.4 with regards to public advertisement of events, referred to Finance, then Judiciary, tabled in Finance, and then withdrawn from Finance on 9/28. Bill 92, sponsored by Senator Alvarez, Chabot, and Murcia, amending student body statutes, Chapter 304.3 with regards to the candidate screening process. And also Bill 87, I just want to clarify, was actually, it was withdrawn. I did say that. Okay, I apologize. And Bill 92, amending student body statutes, Chapter 304.3 with regards to the candidate screening process, was referred to Judiciary, Oversight, and then Rules, passed and amended in Judiciary on 7/13, tabled in Oversight on 7/14, then it was passed and amended on 9/15 in the Oversight Committee. Bill 98, sponsored by Senator Dean, amending student body statutes, Chapter 413.3 regarding renaming of the Student Senate Excellence Award to the Danielle Acosta Student Senate Award for Excellence, referred to Judiciary, then Rules. Bill 101, sponsored by Senator Leckie and Harmon, Little, Wang, Yanam, and Soto, to create the Emergency SGA Rent Relief Fund of 2020. I will be referring it to the Judiciary and SLAW Committee. So with that, we are now in bills on second reading. Bill 82, sponsored by Senator England, amending student body statutes, Chapter 300 to 302, was tabled in Judiciary on 9/30. Bill 86, amending the student body statutes, Chapter 100.5, to add deputy treasurer and members of the executive office to the list of major positions, was sponsored by Senator Dotson, Stinson, and Adams, and was tabled on the Senate floor 9/23. Senator England, do you have a point or a motion?
Yes, just point of information following up from Senator Randall. Is there a reason why we don't have an advisory opinion? My understanding was we were going to receive one from the Chief Justice.
It's just at this point we're waiting. There's not much I can do. I can't speed the process.
Okay, but you asked them for one?
I asked them, and then I believe my form went in, but if it did not, I can make sure to submit another one tonight in that regard.
Thanks.
Senator Gertz, did you have a point?
Yeah, I was just going to do a point of privilege. Sorry. Yeah, sorry. I would just, for a point of personal privilege, I would just request that all the members of the Senate go on to the Constitution and read Section 5 of Article 8, which oversees the selection and vacancies for the Supreme Court nominees, which is really the only one that we would have like a constitutional issue with. And just so that we can be better prepared to debate it next week.
Thank you for your point of personal privilege. Senators, if you would like to take or heed his advice, that is up to your discretion. With that, we are still on Bill 86, which is sponsored by Senator Dotson, Stinson, and Adams. Are any of the sponsors on the call wishing to present? Senator Adams. Stinson. Senator Stinson, Senator Adams, we are on your bill. If neither one of you unmutes, I will be forced to table in the sense that you are not present, just because it's. Senator,
yeah, I'm sorry. I had to get out of the room.
Are you ready to present for Bill 86?
Yes.
All right, Bill 86, you have 5 minutes. Sponsor, do you know if Senator Adams would like to be unmuted as well?
Yes.
Okay, Senator Adams, just let her know if she hasn't already. I've been trying to unmute her.
All right, that's fine then.
But there's 5 minutes on the clock, sponsor, whenever you're ready.
Okay, so this bill is basically just adding positions to the executive board. It's making positions that are already there just more legitimate, and that's really all there is to this bill.
All right, sponsor yields 4 minutes and 50 seconds to his closing statement. Are there any technical non-debatable questions in regards to Bill 86? Senator Gertz, do you have a technical non-debatable question?
Yes. I was just wondering, would this bill impact the ability of the president to determine his cabinet at all, his or her or their cabinet at all?
Senator Stinson, respond to the technical question?
No, it would not.
All right. Are there any further technical non-debatable questions, senators? Senator Chabot.
Point of personal privilege. Oh, I'm so sorry. Point of personal privilege, can the Senate President put up the amended version that was amended in IA, please?
Tempore, could you please do that just because?
I'm looking for it. Just give me a second.
All right, no worries. So while the pro tempore does that, we will continue with technical non-debatable questions. Also, Senator Chabot, I would please ask that in the future, if you or any other senators have any points you would like to make, please wait until the rounds of pro and con. But with that being said, are there any further technical non-debatable questions at this time? Seeing none, is there a motion to go into pro-con debate on Resolution 86? Senator England.
So moved.
All right. Is there a second? Senator Dean.
So seconded.
All right. Are there any objections to going into pro-con debate on Bill 86? Seeing no objections, we are now in pro-con debate with 3 minutes on the clock for the first round of pro. Any senators wishing to speak in the first round of pro? Senator Leckie.
Point of information, is this the most updated version of the bill? Because I was under the impression the Director of Cabinet Affairs was.
Sponsor Stinson, does this look like the most updated version to you?
I can check on that real quick.
Yeah, I'm like comparing
I only have a copy sent from Chair Leckie, and this is the one that I'm showing.
Yeah, it came to judiciary first, so that's definitely not the most updated.
Chair Gonzalez, do you know if you have the most updated version?
Yeah, I do. I'm sending it to Pro Temp right now. That's not the most updated one.
Thank you, Chair Gonzalez. So with that being said, we are still in the first round of Pro with 3 minutes on the clock. Senator England.
Thank you. I just wanted to say, I think it's a great bill. I'm in favor of this. For those who don't know what like the major offices section of statutes is, it basically says that you can't hold two positions within the major offices. So for example, you couldn't be a senator whilst being on an executive cabinet position, for example. So I think it's important that someone like the deputy treasurer focuses on that position, you know, and is not able to take up a second position at the same time. So I like that we're expanding that and giving more opportunities to other students, right? Because if one person's not taking two positions, two people can take two positions. So I yield in support.
Senator yields with 2 minutes and 17 seconds on the clock. Senator Gertz, do you wish to speak in pro?
I'd actually like to make a motion, a point of information to the sponsors, just because I know we're pulling up the new version, but as Chair Leckie mentioned, I believe there's like the Director of Cabinet Affairs, I believe, is mentioned there. So my question to the sponsors is the Director of Cabinet Affairs mentioned anywhere else in statutes?
Senator Stinson or Senator Adams, you may respond. From my understanding, if neither sponsor can respond, I believe not as of yet. I know that Bill 82 that Senator England is working on has mentions of the Director of Cabinet Affairs and clarifies that position a little more. But if either one of the sponsors can address it more clearly, you can do so at this time if that doesn't satisfy the point that Senator Gertz has made.
Yeah, I apologize. I was trying to unmute myself. I've been having computer issues. I'm not sure, though. I can look into that.
In that case, I would like to make a motion to table this bill until the point at which Bill 82 has reached the floor, so that we do not define a position as major before creating the position, thus biasing the vote of Bill 82.
All right, so with that motion that Senator Gertz has made, is there a second to tabling Bill 86? Chair Little.
I second.
All right, with that, are there any objections to moving to table? Seeing none, Bill 86 is tabled until Bill 82 can make it to the floor. So with that being said, I apologize, sponsors. We will be moving forward to Bill 95, sponsored by Senator Murcia, amending Student Body Statutes 203.6 regarding publishing of minutes for all meetings. It was tabled on the Senate floor because the sponsor was not here last week. Sponsor Murcia is not here this week. I know that she's been dealing with medical issues with one of her, close members in her life. And so with that, this bill will be tabled because the sponsor is not in attendance. So Bill 95 is also tabled. Constitutional amendments, Amendment 2, sponsored by Senator Murcia and Chabot, amending student body constitution with regards to the number of student senators, referred to Judiciary Law then Rules, amended and passed in Judiciary and passed in Law, currently in Rules. Amendment 3, sponsored by Senator Murcia, amending the student body constitution to limit the number of students needed for a petition recall, referred to Judiciary Law then Rules on 7-1, amended and passed in Judiciary 7-7, and passed in Law on 7-10. Amendment 5, sponsored by Senator Murcia, to make the student body president and vice president run separately, referred to Judiciary Law then Rules on 9/16. Amendment 6 is sponsored by Senator Murcia as well, editing the student body constitution with regards to student body treasurer, referred to Judiciary Law then Rules on 9/16. We are now in resolutions. Resolution 58 was sponsored by Senator Murcia, amending Student Rules of Procedure 13.8 regarding student center absences. That is referred to the Rules and Calendar Committee. Resolution 60, sponsored by Senator Waters, Garcia, Alvarez, A. Alvarez, J. Alvarez, Gabadaj, Gonzalez, Medliner, Palacio, and Tooks, advocating for the renaming of Doak Stadium to the Charlie Ward Field, was referred to Slaw and Rules, tabled in Slaw, passed in Slaw on 713, passed in Rules 923, and was tabled on the Senate floor 923. Welcome sponsors Waters, Gonzalez, Medliner, Palazzo, Tooks, any senators that are sponsors that are currently on the call. Please raise your hand so that I can mute you and so that you can get your 5-minute opening statement in regards to Resolution 60.
Thank you, Senate. It's so good to be before you today. I'm just going to make it very straightforward this evening. We did a lot of work on this, so I'm very happy. So being Black in America is an undeniable strike given at birth. Justifying to live in your skin, jogging in your skin, eating in your skin is something that I wish upon no person. Going to this university has been one of the greatest privileges of my life. When I walk around this campus, I'm carrying the weight of generations of ancestors that are guiding me. But when I walk around this campus, I don't necessarily feel as if I belong to this campus because there are no names of, quite frankly, African Americans or other people of color here, besides like the Bobby E. Leach. I hope for this symbolic resolution to be a testament to what this university could do if we use our collective minds to truly give back to people who have helped, quite literally, build this university. If my other sponsors have anything, I personally yield.
Nope, seeing nothing else, sponsors yield with 3 minutes and 52 seconds to their closing statement. With that, are there any technical non-debatable questions for the sponsors? And if there aren't any technical non-debatable questions, we may, I will accept a motion to go into pro-con debate. Seeing no technical non-debatable questions, is there any senators wishing to move to go into pro-con debate? Thank you, Senator May.
I move to enter into pro-con.
Chair Dean.
So seconded.
All right, with that, we are in pro-con debate with 3 minutes on the clock for the first round of pro. Any senators wishing to speak in the first round of pro? Senator England.
Point of information for the sponsors. Understanding currently there's the Bobby Bowden Field and the Doak Campbell Stadium. Just to make sure I've got my facts straight here, are you wanting to make it all one name? So it'd be the Charlie Ward Field or?
Absolutely. Thank you for your question. This resolution is arguing for the renaming of the field to the Charlie Ward Field and arguing for the renaming of the stadium to someone who has been a good beneficiary to Florida State University. Thank you for your question.
All right. Any senators wishing to speak in the first round of pro with 3 minutes on the clock? Senator Gertz.
Yes, I'd just like to take a quick moment to thank the sponsors for working on this resolution. I think much of what that stadium and what that field represent disgust me. And while I can't comment on the day-to-day life of being a Black American or even understand the pain that these names across our university or lack of names in certain circumstances create, I can speak just briefly to the Bobby Bowden Field, which is that Bobby Bowden is an unabashed homophobe and transphobe. He is a horrible person who it goes against the values that I hold, that many of our senators hold. And one of my greatest regrets is that I was not able to convince my fellow peers to condemn him. But I'm glad to see that we are going to be hopefully pushing for his name to be replaced by Charlie Ward, someone much more worthy of our adoration and adulation. With that, I yield in pro.
Senator yields a minute and 53 seconds in the first round of pro. Any other senators wishing to make a pro statement? Seeing none, we're now on the clock with 3 minutes on the clock in con. Any senators wishing to speak in con? If no senators are wishing to speak, I will entertain a motion to call the question, pass by acclamation, whatever the Senate feels as appropriate. Chair Dean?
Yeah, I move to pass by unanimous consent.
Is there a second? Senator Shaler?
I had a point of information. Sorry.
Do you withdraw your motion, Chair Dean?
Yes, I do.
All right, so with that, the motion to accept by unanimous consent has been withdrawn. Senator Shaler, what is your point?
I just want to make sure I'm following. So we're we're making it Charlie Ward Field, and then we're like to be determining at a later date what we're going to rename the stadium.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
All right, with that, Chair Dean, would you like to restate your motion?
Yes, I move to pass by unanimous consent.
All right, is there a second? Senator Abston.
So second.
All right, are there any objections to the calling or the passage by unanimous consent? Senator Gertz, are you objecting?
No, sorry, I was trying to second.
All right, seeing no objections, Resolution 60 passes by unanimous consent. Congratulations, sponsors. Your virtual claps, little amazing work. A great resolution. With that, we will be going to Resolution 65, sponsored by Senator Jay Alvarez, Lecky Murcia, Chabot, Yanam, Hinks, and Wang, encouraging the university administration to expand the means in which the student body is educated regarding Indigenous nations and reach out to other nations that use the similar name, still in the Student Life and Academic Affairs Committee, and was also referred to rules after it is heard by SLAW on 9/2. Resolution 69, sponsored by Wang, Bogle, Yanam, and Hinks, amending Senate Student Rules of Procedure 5.12 regarding ad hocs, referred to rules on 9/2, tabled in Rules 923, and passed in Rules on 930. So with that being said, Resolution 69, sponsors, if you can raise your hand for Resolution 69. Oh, is Gertz, are you a sponsor for Resolution 69? He's not on the... He is? Okay.
Yes, he was added in rules. Sorry.
Okay. No worries. I'm just reading the sponsors that I had, and so I didn't see them. But with that, sponsors, you will have 5 minutes for your opening statement. Pro temp, if you may please put this one on sharing. I believe that the Senate, if they have not already reviewed it, definitely need to. And so with that, there's 5 minutes on the clock for the sponsors.
Or TV slide if you want.
Oh, okay. So yeah, in my capacity as a senator, I've had the tremendous privilege to serve as the chair of the Apportionment Committee. Some of our older members will remember it. And the Apportionment Committee was sort of one of the last of the ad hocs before kind of over the summer ad hocs came into vogue and became kind of things that we started to use again. And in many ways, like in the Senate, we have procedures that we use and we put away and we come back to and they're useful again and we need to. And ad hocs are one of those things. They really allow us to address sort of quick, hot issues that are happening very quickly, but that need due consideration and that need due input from the student body and from outside sources. Before this summer, the ad hocs were primarily voluntary. I believe the appointment rule became enforced once again following the beginning of the elections ad hoc. But before that, they weren't really taken that seriously. They were kind of just whenever you had the time. And as a chair of one of them, I know how difficult it is to start up a brand new committee out of nothing. And so I put forth, along with Senator Wang and other sponsors, well, Vice Chair Wang, congratulations. I've put forth some rules, some suggestions, and ways to better help future chairs and vice chairs lead their ad hocs, as well as to clarify what they do. I'm happy to answer any questions. I'm sure all the sponsors are. With that, I yield.
Oh, I think Senator Gertz really covered it, so I have nothing more to add. I yield.
All right, so sponsors yield with for Resolution 69, yield with 3 minutes and 24 seconds to their closing statements. Are there any technical non-debatable questions? Senator England?
Yes, thank you. For the sponsors, can a non-senator serve in the capacity of chair and or vice chair of the committee?
So in the original language, yes. However, after conversation within the Rules and Calendar Committee, F1 was stricken, so no, not in this language.
Interesting. Are there any other technical non-debatable questions, senators? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to go into pro-con debate. Senator Waters.
So moved.
Senator Soto.
So seconded.
All right, so with that being said, are there any objections to going into pro-con debate? All right, seeing none, we are in the first round of pro with 3 minutes on the clock. Senator Mouget, do you wish to speak in pro?
I just had a point of information, if that's okay.
Yeah.
So is there anywhere in this legislation, just kind of out of curiosity, or the past legislation that says who has the power or the authority to remove some senator from an ad hoc?
So sponsors, you may answer that question.
So under this current structure, what would happen is that the Senate President would have the ability to appoint the no less than 5 members to begin with. Those would be the appointed members of the ad hoc, and then other senators could join at their own volition. However, that means you take on the absences and all the other rules that require you to attend committee meetings. So it's just like if you join an ad hoc, you have to follow the same rules as joining, as being in a standing committee. And in that same way, there are, for instance, right here, the Senate body may request the president to reconsider the assignments. So those first 5 can be reconsidered. But as of how it is currently set up, the only way you would be removed from a committee is if you violated the rules of procedure set by the ad hoc. So that would be something that the ad hoc would have to decide. And that would have to be in coordination with the Senate rules on.
Okay, perfect. So just to clarify, if you break like Senate rules and procedure or the committee makes a motion for somebody to be removed, but that's just kind of the process of being removed from an ad hoc?
Yeah, you can get removed if you violate like any of the rules within the Senate, just as like if one of us right now like really seriously impeded the Senate, we could be removed. There are rules in place because the ad hocs fall under all of the other rules of conduct.
Perfect, thank you.
Senator England, did you have a point?
Yes, may I reserve a follow-up, Mr. President?
Yes, you may.
Thank you. So 2 points of information. First one for the sponsors. Is there any particular reason why you've listed that the chair and vice chair should be the primary sponsors of legislation? I'm just curious, if a member of the ad hoc was the one to write significant portions of the legislation, wouldn't that be unfair? So can you just kind of talk through your thought process for making that decision?
You may respond, sponsors.
Yeah, so the thought process there is that, I believe, if you see at point E, it's that upon the conclusion of an ad hoc, the chair and vice chair shall submit their recommendations to the president, and so on. So the concept behind this is so that if an ad hoc, for instance, is created to deal with like a specific legislative issue, they submit, that specific legislative thing, they go through with that. If an ad hoc is created to deal with sort of a more general issue, like the ad hocs we currently have, should those ad hocs ever sort of like close, they would just publish sort of a report on all that they've done. And so the concept behind having the chair and vice chair be the primary sponsors is just that they are the ones who have to prepare this report and this summary. And if anyone remembers like my binder that the Speaker of COGS unceremoniously stole from me, I had quite a large like list of recommendations, research, like reasoning. And so because they're preparing that, the idea is that they would probably be the most knowledgeable on the entirety of the committee, and so would sponsor those things. But however, this was written back in early July, so I don't necessarily think this section, having them as primary sponsors, is necessarily a super important section. So if someone feels uncomfortable with it, I wouldn't necessarily object to removing it, though that was my general thought.
Okay, thank you. And just for the second point of information here as well, my understanding is the idea that non-senators can't be chair and vice chair is inferred from Section F because of that thing where to sponsor legislation, you have to be a senator, and therefore you couldn't be chair or vice chair if you're not a senator. But like, just because we've had so many issues with like constitutionality lately and the interpretation of things, I'm just wondering if that should be more, you know, if you have any thoughts on whether or not that should be more explicitly stated somewhere. So yeah.
So I think, I don't think it would need to, just because the current way that everything is sort of like set up within it, the chair and vice chair have to be able to sponsor legislation. So that, like, should that portion be changed, you would probably amend that to the chair and vice chair shall be senators. If you change that, if you got rid of the having to sponsor thing. The original intention of this, and what is still my intention, is to create these ad hocs and then later add other things to sort of help clarify on issues. For instance, like these were originally, these rules were originally set up to deal with like sort of specific issues that the Senate runs into, and to turn ad hocs towards that way, just because I think, you know, that was what they generally tend to be. And then later have a separate committee for other sort of style things. But yeah, so like if you remove the sponsoring, you would have to add in that they can't be chairs. I will note current rules, it's just implied as well. Like the chair is it cannot be in under current rules, but like the vice chair very well could be. And that's currently implied that they aren't. So.
All right, does that fulfill the questions that you asked, Senator England?
Oh yeah, I'm sorry, that was it. I might come back with some amendments later, maybe.
Thank you, Senator England. Senator Waters?
Thank you, Mr. President. Point of information to the sponsors?
Yes.
Okay. All right, and can I reserve 2 follow-ups?
Yes, you may.
All right, beautiful. So I think like in the making of these types of things, it's important for us to consult the individuals who are currently doing the work. So I guess during the curation or even afterwards, were the current ad hoc chairs consulted, or did they help make this resolution?
Given that this doesn't come into effect until the 73rd Senate, we didn't seem that it was pertinent.
There also
so were there 2 chairs? Were they?
No, sorry to answer your question.
Okay.
When the resolution was written, there were no ad hocs currently active within the Senate. It was written early, I believe, like maybe mid to late June, sort of like right whenever we were kind of going through the midst of sort of chaos before we really kind of had the ad hoc set up. So,
okay. So since then, no consultation?
No.
No.
Okay, thank you. The second one, so why is the chair of the ad hoc like now needing to be elected rather than appointed? Isn't that like the power of the Senate president?
So it is currently the power of the Senate president. I think one of the thought processes behind that was just that the Senate president already has the ability to create the ad hocs. They have the sole sort of like, as far as I understand, the sole right to create them. And so they can create ad hocs on a variety of issues, some of which are sort of very, very legislative, such as my ad hoc, and some of which are very, very sort of like personal and deal with very, very like sort of like issues that are that really affect the student body in very emotional and non-legislative ways. And so the thought process behind removing the appointment of the chair is just so that the choice of that one person who then gets to lead the Senate, for instance, thankfully, the chairs of our ad hocs are wonderful people, and we have wonderful senators in those positions right now. But should we have a student Senate president in the future who, has this racial injustice ad hoc and has some very, very not so great views, they then get to choose whoever they want. And so technically they could pick anyone. But by giving it up to the committee to then vote, we have a little bit more of an ability for democracy to take place within the actual committee, for the senators to debate and have conversation about who is the most competent, who's the most adept, and who can take on that responsibility in the best way possible. It also gives the ability, for instance, if there were an ad hoc on LGBTQ plus issues, it gives the ability for instance, members of Pride to have a say in who becomes the chair of the LGBTQ plus issue. It allows also for the Senate to really kind of coordinate with these other agencies who may have more expertise than we do.
Thank you. And so my last question would be to you. So I guess why is there no cap on the members of the committee? So could the committee theoretically have 30, 50 people? Why is there no cap?
So there's no cap on the number of committee members. There's no cap on any committee members. Committee numbers overall, they just have to kind of be proportional in the standing ones. The reason there's no cap is just because that has been the precedent with ad hocs up until about the time of the summer. And so going through the thought process, it was just that if you're willing to join an ad hoc, you take on all of the attendance responsibilities, all of the other responsibilities that come with being a member of that committee. And so long as they're well-defined and they have well-defined rules, then that can be taken seriously. In the past, for instance, we had the environmental, the sustainability ad hoc, which had, I believe, 33 senators in a group chat, and 6 of them showed up to meetings. So there were only actually 6 members, but that was because there were really, no one paid attention to the rules of ad hocs, no one enforced them. And so by clarifying them, the hope is that they will be taken more seriously. I also would just say that putting an artificial cap may have problems, in the sense that you may have an ad hoc on an issue that reaches so many communities. For instance, racial and injustice reaches a lot of people. So if you put a cap of 10, you then kind of have to sit there and make decisions of who gets a say. And if you put a cap on a voluntary service, then it's first come, first serve, and it's basically saying that we don't really care to hear the other opinions. So that was why I was uncomfortable with the cap.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Senator Waters. With that, Chair Gonzalez.
Yes, I have a point of clarification and a point of information, if that's okay with you, President.
Yes.
So for a point of clarification, the sponsor said that this was made before the ad hocs were established, but that is not true. According to the FSU Senate Instagram, the ad hocs were officially established July 3rd, and this legislation is under the July 8th tab. And then for my point of information, sponsor, so do all committees need, or do all members wishing to be a part of the committee need approval by the Senate President before they are appointed?
You may respond to that point of information, Senator Wang or Gertz.
Yeah, so to answer your question, no. So the current conception of it is that the first 5 are appointed to give a good basis for the committee, and I believe should the number fall below 5, should people be I can't do this anymore, I don't have time, and leave, then the Senate President would be empowered to appoint more. I'd also like to just do my own point of clarification, which is that I actually wrote this resolution in May, and it was only put up after issues with the conception. of the ad hocs. So like before we had a full idea of the leadership, but during the conception. And that was, originally it was a part of a much larger reconstruction of ad hocs, dividing them between ad hocs for legislative issues and select committees to deal with more pertinent and more consistent issues. Because I don't like, for example, I don't like the idea that we're saying that racism is an ad hoc issue that just gets dealt with by a committee that exists and goes away. And so that was why it was brought back up. But the actual resolution was written in like May, April time. And I can provide you with evidence if necessary.
I also have a point of clarification, President Darrell-Deek, if that's okay.
It's not appropriate for sponsors to be making points on their own legislation. However, if you want to make a statement as such, I would suggest that you leave it for your closing statements.
Okay.
So with that being said, Chair Leckie, did you have
I'd like to speak in pro.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there's 3 minutes on the clock. We haven't utilized any of the time, so whenever you're ready.
Well, I'd just like to say I don't want to spend too much time on this because in the grand scheme of things, this doesn't really affect the student body too significantly. But what I will say is this promotes collaboration and leads to more elections, which I think is a positive thing. I trust Senator Gertz on this because he's chaired an ad hoc before that actually produced a pretty significant piece of legislation. For those of you running for re-election, you'll experience the effects of his legislation this fall. I think that in my experience with the COVID task force, I explicitly said that I didn't want a cap on the amount of people that could be involved, and anybody from both branches of our government could be involved. And so far, to my experience, it's been pretty successful. We've had good turnout. I think that people who are interested in an issue will attend the meetings. With an ad hoc, you have to be there or else it counts against your attendance. And so I don't necessarily think that not having a cap is a bad thing. I'd also say the election of the chair is just inherently a good thing. Electing your leadership is not a bad thing. Having a say over who leads the committee is something that we have for every standing committee, and I think that should be applied to ad hocs as well. I don't think that's unreasonable. So because I believe in collaboration and democracy, I yield in pro.
Senator yields with 1 minute and 51 seconds. Senator England, I know you had an amendment you wish to make.
Yes. I would like to move to amend the bill if that's okay. And if the Senate President could be so kind as to paste the amendment in the everyone chat, because I don't think I can do that. Thank you.
I was trying to, because sometimes it doesn't let me copy.
Yeah, no worries. Just to clarify, it would be adding, I know a section F1 has been struck, but it would be re-adding a section 1, if you will, that reads, only sitting senators who serve on the ad hoc committee may serve in the capacity of chair or vice chair.
Is there a second to the motion to make an amendment? Is there a second to the amendment? Senator Gonzalez?
Yeah, so seconded.
All right, with that being said, are there any objections to the amendment? Seeing no objections, do the sponsors find it friendly?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so the amendment has been adopted. With that, we are still in the first round of pro with 1 minute and 51 seconds on the clock. Do any senators wish to make a pro statement? Seeing none, we are now in the first round of con with 3 minutes on the clock. Any senators wishing to speak in con? Chair Gonzalez.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. So I have a couple of issues with this piece of legislation. The first one is obviously what has already been mentioned about the cap. I just don't know how I feel about that in terms of, I understand the argument about how people don't show up, but because people don't show up, I don't understand why people that are not going to show up should have the ability to join a committee, as well as the idea of, there's just so many things. I mean, this was submitted July 8th after the committees were announced. This, to me, is direct retaliation for what happened, or for the people that were appointed and chosen to chair the ad hoc committees. Besides that, which in and of itself is very problematic, I think this takes away the power. The whole idea of this legislation is to establish a structure, but just by freeing up or taking away the power of the president to announce or form the committee as well as choose the chair, it leaves the structure of it up for grabs, and I feel like it would be a setback instead of a step forward. I have had the honor of being vice chair of the RIJ ad hoc since its inception, and I still serve in that role. And to me, I don't believe that this piece of legislation as it stands would be beneficial for the ad hoc or for the Senate as a whole. This is just, I appreciate the amendment that Senator England made because it was definitely needed, but I just don't, in good faith, can't support this, knowing the date of when this was submitted, knowing that people were just mad because people weren't chosen that they wanted to be chosen. So with that, I yield.
Point of order, Mr. President.
What's the point?
Could you please enforce Rule 12.1 and ensure that all senators demonstrate proper respect to other senators?
Yeah, I understand, and I hear your point of order, but I don't see any disrespect being laid out. I see the perspective of the senator being
insinuating retaliation by another senator is inherently disrespectful and comes from a place where which there could be no knowledge of our inherent beliefs and reasoning for putting up this resolution.
I appreciate your point of order. However, I don't recognize it, and that I don't see it in the way that you're seeing it and phrasing it. So with that, the senator had yielded with a minute in con. Senator Waters, would you like to speak in con?
Thank you, Mr. President. So I would concur with the former senator. I think that there are a plethora of things wrong with this piece of legislation. I would just encourage the senators to just, I guess, review it before you submit it. Quite frankly, I was the chair of the Racial Inclusivity and Justice Ad Hoc at the time that this was written. And quite frankly, I was not consulted about it. I had drafted my own rules of procedure, and it was in line with the rules of procedure that we had. And quite frankly, I still do feel as if it's a retaliation piece. So with that, I do yield.
So with that, the two senator yields with a minute and 9 seconds left in con. Do any other senators wish to speak in con with the minute and 9 seconds that are left? Senator England.
Yes, thank you. So I did make an amendment, but I'm actually still in con. I just wanted to amend it so that if it did pass, at least I can settle one of my problems with the bill. I'm just worried that people weren't spoken to, as Senator Waters just alluded to. That is like the fundamental thing we should be doing as senators, is talking to the people that our legislation affects, even if it's just our fellow senators. So that is a fundamental issue for me, and I will not be supporting this. And I yield.
All right, senator yields with 39 seconds on the clock. Any senators still wishing to speak in con? Senator
Yes, thank you. So just kind of going off that as well, I love senators who put in the work, do legislation, but at the same time, I think it's our job as senators to make sure we're speaking to the right people. And, we do have chairs of ad hocs now, so I think it's vital that we do our due diligence and speak to everybody and fellow senators before passing any legislation. Thank you.
All right, with that, oh, am I muted? No, okay. With that, there's still 19 seconds on the clock for con. If no senators wish to utilize it, I will entertain a motion to call the question. However, if any senators still wish to speak, that is your right. Senator England.
Barring any further people wishing to speak, I do move to call the question.
Senator Soto. Oh, Senator Soto, do you second?
So seconded.
All right, are there any objections to the calling of the question on Resolution 69? Seeing no objections, sponsors, you had 3 minutes and 33 seconds, if I'm not mistaken, for your closing statement. And so with that, you may begin whenever you are both ready. Senator Wang, did you want to start off? Or?
Okay, yeah, I guess I'll start off. I'm sorry if any of you feel that this resolution was put up in retaliation to what happened this summer. This comes from the Asian American community that directly reached out to me, and I myself am a member of that. They were worried about the lack of representation for AAPI students when RAJ was formed. So this just kind of clears up any issues with that because it requires committees to be first announced in new business section of Senate meetings. So I really think that that clears it up a lot. That was just my main part of this rule change. So if Gertz, you want to go.
Yeah, sorry for any interruptions. I have a kitten who is very loud. So I would just like to say that this rule, this rule change, I began writing it and began conceptualizing it in about December of last year, which was whenever we began talking about those issues. If you'd like to know that, you can ask Senator England and others who I spoke to at the time about it. And so I would just like to say that it is simply factually not true that it was written after the ad hocs came into existence. That is not true. And I would just like to note that in relation to this resolution, it was an attempt to provide structure for the ad hocs. I have a feeling this attempt will be rejected. In that case, I and Senator Wang, and I'm sure any others who have opinions on it, will move forward working together, possibly on the original concept of splitting ad hocs into ad hocs and select committees. But I would just like to say at the very end that just as much as we should communicate with one another, we should not assume malice in one another. With that, I yield.
Did the sponsor yield?
Oh yeah, yield.
Oh, I apologize. I couldn't see. Everything went black for a second. I apologize. My internet has been a little trippy. I was very happy that it wasn't making any issues, but it just started. Hopefully it does not continue. But with that being said, thank you for your closing statement, sponsors. We will now be in line to vote, senators. Please remember this is a rule change, and per Rule 15, it states that any rule change needs a 2/3 vote, a 2/3 majority vote in the affirmative to be adopted. So senators, if you vote yes, vote no if you do not support it, and then go faster if you feel like you'd like to abstain. But with that being said, just be mindful that it does need a 2/3 majority to pass.
All right. Senator Alvarez, Soto, Dean, Chabot, Rudd. Wilkinson, Rudolph. Okay, just give me a moment. All right, vote reads 7 yes, 14 no, 4 abstentions. Resolution 69 does not pass.
Thank you, Pro Tem Harmon. So with that being said, we will move forward to Resolution 86, sponsored by Senator Gonzalez, which was referred to the Rules and Calendar Committee. Resolution 87, sponsored by Pro Tem Harmon, the censure of Senate President Darrell Deek via Rule 14.3 and 14.46 by complaints submitted by Senator Gertz, was also referred to the Rules and Calendar Committee. I would have wished to hear this one on the floor, but it needs basically how it's structured. It has to go through rules to kind of get like a stamp of approval in a sense, and then the Senate floor will hear it, and it'll need a 2/3 to pass in that regard. Moving forward, Resolution 87, we just said that one. Resolution 88, sponsored by Senator Gertz, recognizing that October 6th, 2020 is National German American Day, and in the following week is German American Week. We'll be going to the Student Life and Academic Affairs Committee. Resolution 89, sponsored by Rudd and Soto, Medley Nera, Yanam Wang, Gertz, and Leckie, is Canvas has the personal pronouns feature as optional for students, faculty, and staff to select, and kind of urging the administration to take that on. Also being sent to the Student Life and Academic Affairs Committee. Resolution 90, which was added to the calendar last week, sponsored by Gertz and Soto, Yanam Wang, and Maiman, commemorating the life and legacy of Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, will also be sent to the Student Life and Academic Affairs Committee. With that being said, I believe that there was a resolution that needed to be added on the calendar. Is that what you're doing, Senator Wang?
Yeah, I move to place a resolution on first reading.
Is there a second to that motion? Senator Soto.
So seconded.
Awesome. So with that, are there any objections? I will be, I'm pulling up the resolution. It was sent to me by Senator Yanam. I'll give you guys an opportunity to look it over. But are there any objections to the adding this onto the calendar? I don't believe so. That's the one. All right. I hope everybody can see this. If so, maybe nod your head. Something to give me an affirmative sense that you see it. Okay, awesome. But with that, this is resolution. It'll be resolution 91 now that it was added to the calendar. And this is also referred to the Student Life and Academic Affairs Committee. Is it condemning anything? Demands of fulfillment of admission. All right, because it's not condemning anything, I will not be sending it to Rules and Calendar. I will just be sending it to SLAW. Oh, is there? Sharing is confusing when you start to have points. Maiman, did you have a point?
Yes, I did. Point of clarification. I believe in the first be it resolved, it is condemning. It's condemning Governor DeSantis's decision.
I see it now. I was looking for it. I was like, I felt like I saw it earlier, but okay. So with that, it will go to SLAW first, and then it'll go to Rules and Calendar. So it's referred to, so Resolution 91 is referred to SLAW, and then the Rules and Calendar Committee. Senators, this is the resolution. I will do my best to ensure that it is on the website. I am working towards creating some system for the Senate to start receiving the weekly legislation that is on second reading. So that way you kind of get a copy of it before you get here, because I know that it can be hard at times to formulate it yourself and be looking at every committee's minutes and trying to figure out where this legislation was, when it was submitted and stuff like that. So I'm doing my best to see what the best process for that to move forward, just to make sure that you all as senators don't have a difficult time kind of, moving forward and able to digest the information that we're working with. So with that, we are in unfinished business. Wow, it's only 9:24. We are in unfinished business. There is none. Statements of dissent. Do any senators wish to make a statement of dissent at this time? Senator Gertz.
I was just going to do a point of information. Oh, and I might be wrong. I'm sorry. I'm really used to having like the whole calendar up in like in-person Senate, which was really nice. I was just wanting to make sure, because I believe are we having RTAC elections today? Are they okay?
Mm-hmm.
They're new. Okay, thank you. I was sorry. I'm used to seeing the calendar. I apologize.
Okay, that's why we emailed it to you all, so you have an opportunity to look it over prior to the meeting and get a chance to kind of absorb that information before coming in tonight. But I understand if you didn't get a chance to look at it. But with that being said, if there are no statements of dissent, Gertz, do you wish to make a statement of dissent? Is that why your hand's still up or no?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And what is your statement of dissent on?
I would just like to make a statement of dissent on the failure of Resolution 69.
Resolution 69. Got it. Please make sure that you submit your statement of dissent by noon on Friday. I know that Deshaun would appreciate that because if you don't submit it by noon on Friday, it will not be on the calendar and it will not be added in regards to the statement of dissent. So with that being said, we are now in new business. This is kind of our final item for the night. Is there a motion to open the floor for RTAC chair elections? Nominations of chair elections. Senator Waters.
So moved.
Is there a second? Senator Gertz.
So seconded.
All right, with that being said, are there any objections to opening the floor for RTAC chair nominations? Seeing none, are there any senators wishing to make any nominations? Chair Gonzalez.
I nominate Senator Rudolph.
Is there a second to that motion? Senator Waters.
So seconded.
Senator Rudolph, do you accept?
I decline. Sorry.
All right. With that being said, are there any further nominations? Senator Wang.
I nominate Senator Gertz.
Is there a second? Senator Soto.
So seconded.
All right. Are there any other nominations at this time? All right. So with that being said, is there a motion to are there any other senators wishing to make a motion to nominate any other individuals? Senator England. Oh, I clicked the wrong person. No, you don't want to nominate anybody. All right, if there are no other nominations, I will entertain a motion to close the floor for nominations. Chair Leckie.
So moved.
All right, is there a second? Senator Mouget.
Hey, sir, I didn't raise my hand fast enough. I was going to nominate somebody, but
No worries. Becky, could you withdraw your motion? All right, the Chair Leckie withdrew his motion. Senator Mouget, you are in line to nominate the candidate you believe would be appropriate.
I would like to nominate Jason Randall.
Senator Randall. Oh, that's awesome. Look at that. Is there a second to Senator Randall? Senator Gonzalez.
So seconded.
Senator Randall, do you accept?
Yes, thank you, senators.
That's awesome. So with that being said, are there any other senators wishing to make a nomination? If not, I will entertain a motion to close the floor for nominations. Senator Mouget.
Oh, sorry, I forgot to lower my hand.
It's okay. Senator England, are you going to move to close the floor for nominations?
Yes, I move to close the floor.
All right. Is there a second to that, Senator Gonzalez?
So seconded.
All right. Are there any objections to closing the floor for nominations of RTAC? Okay, seeing none. We have two candidates who have been nominated. We have Senator Randall as well as Senator Gertz. How this will work is alphabetically, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Okay, so Gertz will go first because alphabetically his last name is first in regards to their statements. How it will work is each candidate will have 5 minutes to make a statement to the Senate. After that senator makes their statement, there will be an opportunity for senators to ask questions of that candidate. And once the senators ask those questions, I believe the maximum is 2 questions, or it's 2 minutes of questions. I just need to check rules of procedure really quickly. I apologize. But basically after the questioning period, the senator who was asked those questions will be put in the waiting room. And then there will be a maximum of 2 individuals speaking in pro of that candidate. Each person speaking in pro has 2 minutes to speak in pro. So there will be a total minutes of 4, and pro, 2 minutes per individual speaking in pro of that candidate. And then we will hear the second candidate, which will be candidate Randall. He'll give his statement, and then we'll go through that same process of being asked questions and then having 2 individuals speak in pro. And then after that, we will go into voting. We will invite them both back in. And then when it comes to vote, I think how we want to do this, Pro Temp Harmon, is basically they message you individually who they would be voting. No, should they message the advisor, Deshaun Scott? Because it's supposed to be a secret ballot.
Yeah, and I technically vote on it as well. So
okay, so I guess I could do it if Deshaun can't, and I'll just like close my eyes when it comes to the names and just record the actual vote. Because yeah, I won't write anyone's name down. So I guess when it comes to voting, Pro Temp Harmon, you'll say the individual's name, and then you just message me your vote if it's Randall or if it's Gertz. And then I'll tally it and I'll send the picture to Pro Temp Harmon in regards to the numbers, or I'll send him a chat message. But yeah, so with that, we will be starting with Gertz. Senator Randall, I am going to put you in the waiting room. Is that okay? All right, so we have Senator Randall in the waiting room. Senator Gertz, you have 5 minutes for your opening statement whenever you're ready.
Yeah, so thank you very much for the nomination, as well as thank you very much to the Senate for hearing me tonight. I have seen sort of RTAC and PAC and all of the different variety of funding boards for going on 2 or 3 years now since I first came here to FSU. And I think they really represent the boards that make the most direct impact on students. Having been an avid attender of the finance committee in my first term, and having been there and heard the legitimate sort of pain that students feel whenever they're cut and the legitimate reasons they want to go places, I think that the chair of RTAC needs both empathy and experience to be able to properly do this job. As far as empathy goes, I have served as the treasurer of the forensics team, which is a budgeted organization. So we never went through the RTAC process. However, we do have to comply with the finance as well as all of the accounting at the university, as well as all of the varieties of paperwork you have to fill out to spend SGA money. So I know the experience that these small organizations and RSOs are going through. In my year as treasurer, my freshman year, I did not serve on the executive board, and I had to pay over $250 out of my own pocket to attend nationals. The next year, under my guidance, cost-cutting measures, saving where we could, not a single person had to pay a dime to go to nationals, and we were able to take many more people for that. So I know what it's like to manage a small budget for a small organization doing something that I really care about. So I have the empathy and the understanding of where these RSOs are coming from and why these events and why this travel is so important. And I think we should never forget in RTAC and PAC, both on consent resolutions and in the funding boards and in the finance committee and throughout our Senate, that these are real students who may not know anything about SGA and are asking you to care as much as they do. And I think that's a really serious thing to take up. Moving forward in the Senate and to my experience, I've served as the chair of the Central Reserves Committee, where I was able to allocate over $200,000 over the course of 2 weeks in the middle of elections in which I was running for re-election. And in doing this, we were able to hear all the different requests for funding across the campus, and we had to make legitimate, tough choices so that we didn't outspend our budget. And when we made those choices, we had to listen to what was best for everyone. We had to look at the numbers to see how much spending had been for years past. We had to make projections and take legitimate economies in mind. And so I have experience working on a limited budget, which is what RTAC is. It's a limited budget to make people's dreams come true and to give them the opportunities that FSU promised them. I've also served as a voting member of RTAC, not a confirmed one, but as a senator who sat in whenever we did not meet quorum, as well as having attended multiple PAC meetings in the past. I also, over the last week, had the opportunity to serve as RTAC liaison. And unfortunately, in that time, I've already had to communicate with RSOs as to the rules of RTAC and how confusing those can be. So I think moving forward, looking forward to what I would like my chairship to be, should I be elected by the Senate, I think I want my chairship to be based on those principles of empathy, and experience, because empathy first in creating a system and creating a better understanding of how these funding boards work by doing more outreach to large organizations, by doing more outreach to RSOs that may not have requested funding from RTAC and PAC directly, and providing them the rules, reaching out to them, explaining that these resources exist, because I do know that many don't, even with the revamped financial videos put out by the executive branch. I think that's a continuous process of reaching out. And then also on experience, I think it is clear that as we bring in new members, we have to work to train them, to teach them what RTAC is, to teach them how to view these considerations, to view these new requests for funding. And in doing so, I think I would push to create a standardized presentation as well as an explainer for them that focuses heavily on empathy and making sure that we make the best choices possible to make as many people's dreams come true and to give everyone the opportunity they deserve as their right as an FSU student. And so I hope to garner your support in this election, and I would like to thank you for your nomination. And with that, I yield.
With that, you yielded 20 seconds of the 5 minutes. So we will now be moving forward into questions. Do any senators have any questions that they would like to ask of the candidate for RTAC? Gonzalez.
Wait, can I have a point for you, Mr. President?
Yes.
A point of, I guess, parliamentary inquiry. Do we go into pro and con after this, or?
So for candidates for positions, we will not be going into pro and con, just because we don't go into con on candidates, because that's just bad. Like, I personally would feel horrible. But how it would work is we will go into pro after we ask the candidate questions, and 2 senators will be allowed to speak in pro maximum, and each one of those senators will have 2 minutes to speak in pro. So a total of 4 minutes, but divided by 2 people. Yeah, that's how it's written in Rule 5.4. So are there any questions for the candidate? Senator England.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have one question, which is, do you believe there is a conflict of interest as serving as the leader of a campus political party and having direct power over funding for RSOs? Do you believe there is a conflict of interest, yes or no? And if no, why not?
No, I don't, due to the fact that as far as I understand within the rules, political parties are not allowed to receive funding. Furthermore, the RTAC chair does not actually have much control over what those fundings are and how much each person's allocated. So even if even if I did believe there was a conflict of interest, there's not much in the way of things that I could do to actually manipulate any of the numbers or anything. It's just my duty to receive what the committee wants and fight for it. And that's how I conceive the RTAC chair. So thank you.
All right, is there another question? Senator Leckie.
You'd mentioned you were helping to run Central Reserves while you were running for re-election. Can you describe some of that experience?
Yeah, so in the Central Reserve process for about a week, we have meetings and we have hearings for like real like big adult organizations like the union, and they come and talk to us. And during that like first week of hearings was the beginning of election week, and I was actually on my way to one of the meetings. I was verbally harassed on Landis, and I had to arrive sort of distraught and then still lead a hearing. And they didn't happen on election day itself, thankfully. I had worked with Dr. Acosta to ensure that. But in those moments, it's sort of very difficult to inspire oneself to go forward because it's so difficult and it takes so much time and effort to really make decisions that actually impact people's lives, especially when it's so stressful under the campaign season and everything. So I think what inspired me and kept me going was knowing that these were impactful decisions and that these made people's lives better and could actually legitimately impact them. And so I think that kept me going forward, because I think it's the most impactful thing we do as a Senate is to provide funding to these organizations throughout the year and through the Central Reserves and sweepings process. So I do think that really inspired me. For that, I yield.
It's okay, you don't have to yield. Are there any further questions for the candidate? If there are none, I will send him to the waiting room. Seeing no further questions, I will be sending you to the waiting room. He is now in the waiting room. At this time, senators, you may be able to speak in pro of this candidate if you would like to. Two of you will be given that opportunity. And so if you'd like to, I will pick the two individuals that raise their hand first. If there isn't two individuals, I will allow that one individual that does. And if there are no individuals who wish to speak in pro, and then we can move into the next candidate. It is up to the senators and how you all feel. So if any senators would like to speak in pro, please raise your hand at this time. Senator Mayman will be speaking in pro, and you have 2 minutes on the clock.
Thank you, Mr. President. So I don't really speak much at these meetings. It's just a lot going on, but I just wanted to quickly speak in pro for Brendan. I think for a position like RTAC chair, it's very important for whoever is in that position to have a lot of experience above all else. And Brendan has a distinguished, should I call it career? I guess career in SGA in a variety of different positions that he went through Central Reserves. He's been in RTAC and PAC meetings. He is very qualified as someone who knows him personally. I know that he's someone who genuinely cares about students, and I think someone who serves in the RTAC chair position needs to empathize with students because it's obviously funding that directly affects their ability to go on trips. So even though someone in that position needs to make tough decisions every now and then, it's still important for them to be able to empathize with students and understand the importance of them receiving the funding that they need to go on their trips. So I believe wholeheartedly that Brendan is more than qualified to be in this position. And yeah, that's all I have to say.
Thank you, Senator. Utilized 1 minute and 25 seconds of the time that you had to speak in pro. But with that, your time in pro has expired, and now there is an opportunity for a second individual to speak in pro with 2 minutes on the clock. But if there is no individual who would like to speak, we will move into the opening for candidate Randall. However, it is up to your discretion, senators, if anyone else would like to speak in pro. All right, seeing no other senator wishing to speak in pro of this candidate, we will move into candidate Randall's opening statement. Senator Randall, you have 5 minutes on the clock whenever you're ready to make your statement.
Thank you, Mr. Senate President. I appreciate that. And I'd also like to thank Senators Gonzalez and Mouget, two advocates that I really respect greatly. Senators, we have a decision to make. This chair election is not about us. It's about the future of our peers, our constituents, the students of Florida State University. It's about accountability. It's about transparency. But in my opinion, most importantly, it is about empowerment and advocacy. Who do you believe is the best advocate for students wishing to enrich their education through extraordinary opportunities that exist outside the walls of our campus? Sure, we can talk about fiscal responsibility, and I'd like to talk about that briefly before expanding upon that empowerment piece. In my opinion, fiscal responsibility is at the core of any sort of chair of a funding board. It's the requirement to manage financial processes and transactions in a manner that fulfills one's fiduciary, ethical, and legal obligations while maintaining, in my opinion, their professional ethical norms and values. In our case, this often means ensuring accountability, and most importantly, especially with the Sunshine Law, transparency by reviewing financial reports and ensuring compliance with an RSO's own stated policies and this body's stated policies. But that's the financial part. And I have years of experience doing that on behalf of the Big Event Tallahassee, where I was an executive board member since the second month of my freshman year, overseeing large budgets for marketing, and then doing really intense relationships and building bridges between FSU, FAMU, and TCC as the volunteer engagement director. But that's neither here nor there, because I think all that has come down to this moment for me. We're at a point where we need to focus on showing students that they have these incredible opportunities to go out to have these experiences. For graduate students such as myself and people that are interested in research in our UROP program, to go and attend those research conferences with maybe a little bit extra funding. For people that are looking to go and attend conferences relevant to their organizations, building true leaders. We are here because we want to be passionate advocates. We want to be, the shepherds of an incredible educational opportunity. I just hope that you'll give me the opportunity to help shepherd, even if just for a few weeks, this incredible committee towards those endeavors. And I would really appreciate that responsibility and will be a tireless advocate on behalf of our student body. Thank you, Mr. Senate President.
Wow, thank you for that empowered speech, Senator Randall. With that being said, senators, you may ask the candidate questions at this time. And if any senators do have questions, please raise your hand so that you can ask the candidate. Senator Wang.
Do you have any financial experience within SGA?
Yeah, sure. So I presented in front of many committees here in SGA. I've presented in front of PAC. I've actually presented in front of RTAC as well. A lot of you may know me because I'm the guy when I go and sit at the Senate floor, because one of the pieces for the big event has been on in meeting just to see what you guys do. So yes, I have presented in front of it. I have financial experience. I've been financially certified for 3 years, in addition to previous operational and budget management experience before that. Yes.
Are there any further questions? Senator Waters.
Thank you, Mr. President. Can you describe a project or an idea that was implemented primarily because of your efforts, and what was your role and what was the outcome?
Excellent. So one of the big things that we wanted to do in the big event Tallahassee was create an opportunity for TCC and FAMU students to be involved in a collective effort to help and give back to Tallahassee. And I distinctly remember a situation where we had nobody involved from TCC. And mind you, that's a huge feeder school for FSU. So it's not only doing work on behalf of the Tallahassee community, but in many ways it's supporting the FSU community and showing them that FSU students are involved in the Tallahassee community. And we reached out. I personally met with I believe the student program coordinator at Tallahassee Community College, in addition to the director there, and we sat down and established concrete goals for how we wanted to improve the community service experience through the big event. And these were conversations we hope to continue into conversations with the Center for Leadership and Social Change. Specifically, we talked about ways to improve student learning, student service learning. They wanted more opportunities for people to have intentional discussions about their volunteer opportunities. And so as a result, and we're talking about results that I had, as a result directly of those conversations with Tallahassee Community College, we created intentional questions for team leaders to ask at the service sites, and empowered our service sites to ask specific questions and to tell their story a little bit more, thereby emphasizing the importance, just like we would do in RTAC, of any sort of funding, any sort of conversation, any sort of policy is not a policy, it's not a bill in some sort of document that sits there. It's a living conversation that we use to push forward the agenda of the student body. And that's what we tried to do.
Thank you. Did you have a follow-up, Senator Waters, or no? You were good. All right. Senator Soto.
First off, may I reserve a follow-up?
If it's pertinent, yes.
Okay. So my first question is, do you understand what are the roles of an RTAC chair? Because I haven't really heard you explain about that. So.
Senator Randall. you may respond. Oh, he was asked. Oh, I apologize. It is two questions. You're not supposed to ask more than that. I apologize for not making that clear.
Sorry, Senator Soto, could you repeat that? My internet is down at my house, and so I'm using data to try and connect to the Zoom meeting, and I didn't hear your question. I apologize, Senator Soto.
No, you're okay. I just wanted to see if you knew like the duties and responsibilities of an RTAC chair.
Senators. So what I was saying is that there were two questions asked. It's been brought up to my attention by the pro temp. I completely did not realize, but there has been two questions asked, and the two questions can be asked of a candidate. And so with that being said, I apologize, Senator Soto, for you not getting to ask your question. And with that, candidate Randall, I thank you, but I'm going to take you out of the Zoom call and put you in the waiting room so that two senators who wish to speak in pro will be given that opportunity.
Okay. Thank you anyway, Senator Soto. I appreciate it.
All right, senators. So with that being said, do any senators wish to speak in pro of the candidate? And each senator who does wish to speak in pro, there are going to be 2 minutes on the clock. Senator Mouget.
Hi, thank you. Hello, Senate. I've had the distinct pleasure and frankly the honor of getting to know Senator Randall. Although he's a new senator, this graduate student exemplifies the ideal senator and carries experiences and skills I hope to have one day. He has tackled everything he has touched, and I know he'll be more than ready for this position. I've had direct conversations with Senator Randall's goals for this campus, and he is passionate about the student body, a well-rounded leader, and has the drive to move our campus forward. I have walked away from my conversations with Senator Randall inspired. I have full confidence he will lead the student organizations to the best way the Senate has ever seen. He stands for fairness, respect, advocacy, and ethics, and I stand in full support. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Mouget. Senator Gonzalez, Chair Gonzalez, you have 2 minutes.
Yeah, so I've also had the honor of even just meeting Randolph from his first interview with the Rules and Calendar Committee to now. And he has been honestly an absolute pleasure. Since he even came and was certified into his seat, he's come to my committee, every committee we've met, so that's twice now. And he's participated wholeheartedly in all the conversations that he could be. And he's also gone to other committees, gone to his own committee and reported back and come back when he needs to. So he is really committed to the Senate, to his job in this position. And although he is young and although he is new, I believe wholeheartedly that passion and drive can take you to so many places. And I think he has the perfect drive and the perfect passion to serve beautifully in this role. So with that, I yield.
Thank you, Senator Gonzalez. So with that being said, I will allow the candidates back in to use whatever time from their 5 minutes if they so choose. Gertz had 20 seconds left, and Senator Randall actually had 2 minutes and 4 seconds. And so with that being said, I'll allow them back in and give them an opportunity one at a time to make a statement if they so choose, and then I'll have both in, and then we will go forward with the vote. And so with that being said, I'll allow Gertz in first to utilize his 20 seconds. Senator Gertz. Senator Gertz, you have 20 seconds remaining from your opening statement, which started with 5 minutes, but you yielded 23 seconds to be exact. So if you wanted to utilize them, you can.
I would just like to say thank you all for your consideration, and I'm hopefully very excited to get to work.
All right. Thank you. I'm just going to remove you one more time, and I'll be letting you back in soon. Senator Randall, you have 2 minutes and 4 seconds on the clock if you choose to use them that you yielded from your opening statement, if you'd like to make any closing remarks.
Thank you, Mr. Senate President. I really appreciate everybody, coming together and hearing what I have to say tonight. It's a really important decision we're making on behalf of the student body. We're asking for somebody to be a steward of this committee, like Senator Soto was so graciously alluding to, and to really lead our student body in a great direction. I think my thoughts about transparency, accountability, no matter if we don't meet that week, I'm going to still send my report to the president saying, Mr. Senate President, we didn't meet this week, but here are the things we're talking about, or better yet, I'll use the week that we don't meet to go ahead and advertise for the work that we're doing, to make sure that every week we don't meet is a week we should have met. And that's the kind of attitude I want to bring to Senate overall, but most importantly to this committee, because the students deserve it. This money's here. It's not going anywhere. We need to make sure that people know about this. We need to make sure that it's being distributed, and most importantly, we need to make sure that it's being distributed properly, legally, and in accordance with all laws and procedures. So if you're interested in doing that, please come talk to me. I'm here. No matter what, I'd love to have any conversation about advocating on behalf of the student body. But most importantly in this committee, most importantly in this role. I appreciate this opportunity, and thank you all.
Thank you, Senator Randall. With that, I'm going to let in Senator Gertz, and then we will all be in line to vote, and I will outline that process. Senator Gertz back in the call. I don't see him. No. Senator Gertz, you're with us. You hear us?
Yes, I'm here. Thank you.
Awesome. So how this will work is Senators Pro Temp Harmon will say your name. This is a secret ballot, secret vote. Your votes will not be disclosed. But how it will work is each senator, once your name is stated by the Pro Temp, you will message Deshawn, either Gertz or Randall. You choose which candidate you would like to vote for. Senator Mouget, did you have a point? All right, I'm just going to...
Hand was left up, yeah.
I'm just going to assume that that's what it was. But as I was stating prior, you will just send your vote to Deshawn Scott, our advisor, or one of our two advisors, and basically he will tally the vote so that way it stays as anonymous as possible. I will not see it. The Pro Temp will not see your vote, and then that way you may vote what you feel best, because this is supposed to be as secret as possible. And so with that being said, we will move forward. And yeah, Pro Temp whenever you're ready, and I'll just announce the results once Deshawn sends them to me in regards to who is the candidate that prevailed. But you may go ahead, Harmon, when you're ready.
All right, so rather than like doing a quorum call or anything, I made sure everybody was here. So there should be 26 votes total. I've written all your names down to make sure that I've called you all. If someone has come in here before or during the speakers, then I probably haven't gotten your name down. So just let me know if I skip you, or don't say your name. Starting with Senator Adam Meek and Murcia. Yeah, we'll do it two at a time. I think that's okay. And then we can do Gertz and Little next. And then Mouget and Shaler.
Send your vote to Deshawn, not myself. Just make sure you're sending to Deshawn, because I appreciate it, but I just don't want to be held in a situation where someone's like, oh my goodness.
Yeah, if you need help finding him, click the little thingy, members. And
send
then...
it through Zoom. It's okay if it's through
Zoom.
Zoom.
Through Zoom. Okay, never mind. Sorry. My bad. I was gonna do it through GroupMe. Oops. All right. Next is Wilkinson in England. And Wang and Rigadel. Senator Soto and Harmon. Oh, that's me. Senator Lecky and Gonzalez. Gonzalez. Senator Denton and Martin. Senator Adams and Pendleton. Senator Abston and Mayman. Senator Dean and Rudolph. Senator Chabot and Alvarez. And Senator Waters and Randall. And if I missed you, please raise your hand so I can call your name. And Senator Fahey has just shown up. Oh, Mujay, I called you a while ago, but go ahead. Senator Fahey, we are voting on the RTAC chair. Currently, President Darrell Decow, he has not been here for the entire, should he just vote or like?
I would suggest abstention because he wasn't present in regards to their opening statements, in regards to their questions and all that. I would suggest abstention. He has the right to vote as he pleases. But my recommendation would be abstention because he's not knowledgeable on the candidates.
All right, so Fahey will be an abstention for Deshawn. So that would be a total of 27 votes, but since an abstention, it doesn't really count. Oh, and Deshawn, if you're missing numbers, like, I don't know.
I will let you know.
Okay. Yeah, if you haven't voted, send it. If you have not voted, send it now so that we can get them all.
How many should I have, Alex, again? You said 26?
Yeah, 26. And then a 27th vote, which is just an abstention.
Okay. I'm double checking it.
Okay, there are 24 votes. That means 2 people did not vote. So please, if you have not voted, seriously vote. Oh, now there's 25. Now we're missing 1 more. So if you have not sent it to Deshawn, please send it now. Please vote. I don't. All right, I'll just read out everybody's names. Maybe whoever's like not really listening might hear their name and might come back. So Adamik, Mercia, Gertz, Little Mouget, please vote if you haven't voted. Shaler, Wilkinson, England, Wang, Rigadel, if you have not voted, please vote. Soto, Lecky, Gonzalez, Denton, Martin, please vote if you have not already voted. This is for the RTAC chair election. Adams, Pendleton, Abston, Mayman, Dean, please vote if you have not already voted. Dean, Rudolph, Chabot, Alvarez, Waters, Randolph, please vote if you have not. Let me make sure my list is correct. Also, if you are a candidate, you can vote as well. Oh, okay, got them all. Awesome.
Drum roll, please. No, yeah, it was longer than expected to calculate those votes. But with that being said, congratulations to our new RTAC chair. No, okay, y'all are ready. Senator Randall, congratulations for winning RTAC chair. You know, I will definitely, if you want to have a conversation with myself, the pro tempore advisors, to kind of understand your role a little more. We're here for you, but congratulations. You know, it's awesome. I'm proud of you. That's good. Like, that's exciting. So with that being said, we're done with our new business for the night. Sorry, I put away my calendar for some reason. Here it is. So after new business is closing announcements. So we will start off with sweet turn. Okay, perfect. Randall, expect an email from Deshaun. He'll be emailing you. But with that being said, Clerk Roy, did you have any closing announcements you'd like to make? But before the clerk actually made those announcements, I wanted to ask, did any of the senators wish to make any closing announcements? Any senators? Senator Waters?
Hey, thank you, everyone. So on Friday, of course, as the Senate President iterated at the beginning, we're going to be doing a voter registration drive. Please utilize your right to vote. I think that's extremely important to take part in our republic. I think as student leaders, let's continue to pub getting out the vote. Let's continue to just stress the importance of taking part in our electoral process. And so I hope to see you all Friday. We're going to be coming out with a graphic pretty soon. This is something that Senator Darrell Deek and I have been, spearheading like very, very quickly, along with Senator Martin. So please, please, please attend. Additionally, please check your county supervisor of elections office. Make sure you are registered to vote. If you're not registered to vote, please do that before Monday. Additionally, if you are elsewhere and you intend to cast your ballot for back home, request your absentee ballot. And if you would like to change your address, please change your address here to Leon County. And as always, if you guys have any questions, I'm here. I'm knowledgeable on the full electoral process and all things election. So please reach out to me if you have any questions. Please stay safe. Please stay safe. Wear your mask, hand sanitizer. All right. Love you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Waters. Chair Leckie.
I just wanted to say something that's been weighing pretty heavily on me is both the news that a student at FSU has passed away from because of the coronavirus, and also my hometown of Orlando, there's been a lot of economic consequences to the coronavirus. And here in Leon County, over 10% of the population is uninsured. We have an 11% unemployment rate. People are suffering pretty tremendously because of this. And so I ask, particularly because a lot of the images we've seen of people partying and going to nightclubs, I ask that people consider the effects that has on this community. I'm sure that people here are following the rules, but we're all role models to people on this campus. So please remember that it isn't just about us at FSU, it's about the Tallahassee community as well. So please keep that in mind. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair Leckie. With that, Senator Chabot, I saw you had your hand raised. Did you want to make a statement, or are you choosing against?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, you're ready.
So, I never thought this day would come. Okay. I've written something out because I don't want to mess this up. But it is with a heavy heart that I speak to you tonight. When I started my term in Senate after being appointed to my seat, I never thought this day would come. Over the past 6 months, Senate has transformed from something I loved into something that only brings me heartache. When I came in, I had hope that being part of this body, I could help students and truly make their lives better at our university. But I no longer have faith that this body can complete that goal. In my time serving it, it has become clear that there are members of this body that only serve their egos and the egos of their friends, rather than the people who elected us. They are only here to advance their own interests rather than the interests of the student body and of our community. I have also lost confidence in the independence of the legislative branch. This morning, we heard testimony detailing the coercion occurring within Student Government Association, showing that this body has been corrupted by the other branches of government and outside organizations. The founders of our country intended for the legislative branch to be the strongest because it is the body of the people and for the people, and has become the weakest. This body has disappointed me more than any other event in my time at FSU. The blatant disregard for statutes and rules that this body oversees, the self-serving and ego-driven action of many of its members, and the flagrant culture of bullying, threats, and dishonor that members of this body engage in has led me to conclude that this is not a place to be if I wish to do anything good for the student body. If these words apply to you, you should be ashamed. To those of you that these words do not apply to, I thank you. And I thank you for your ability to carry yourselves with leadership and integrity. The actions of the members of this body drove several students, including a member of the Senate Hall of Fame, to leave SGA entirely, and has driven me to do the same. The toxic and frankly disgusting behaviors and immorality that this body, along with other facets of SGA, have fostered ensures that it remains insular and devoid of students who refuse to fall in line with an established order in which compliance and loyalty are demanded under the threat of retribution. This past summer was a rough one. It took a toll on the student body, on our community, but I don't think we quite realized the toll it took on the members of the Senate. I didn't realize the toll it took on me until the end of the summer session. I had the opportunity to participate in this year's Panhellenic recruitment with my chapter. And after an exhausting summer, it brought me a lot of much needed clarity. My mental health took a sharp dive and continues to decline the longer I am a member of this body. I have never felt more worthless, hopeless, or disrespected in my college experience than I have in Senate. It has consumed my conversations and my relationships and has all around proven unhealthy to me. One of my sisters recently told me that the last time she saw me excited to be a senator was when I was reelected over 7 months ago. Overall, it has become detrimental to me to be a member of this body. I really wish things were different, but they aren't. I have struggled with this decision for a long time. At the beginning of the session, I told Chair Leckie Griffin that I would give myself 2 weeks to see if I could still be a member of this body and to see if it was healthy for me to continue to do so. Somehow he convinced me to extend it to a month, but that month is up. I struggled between 2 choices, the selfless one and the selfish one. The selfless one entails remaining in my seat and continuing to serve the students who elected me. I didn't want to fail the people who needed me and the people who elected me to serve in this position. The selfish decision means resigning from my position as a senator for the benefit of myself and my relationships. I would be failing to finish the term I was elected to serve, but I have realized that sometimes I have to be selfish. I cannot serve the students if I am not in a place to do the job properly. I also cannot help the students if I have no faith in the body in which I serve. So it is with much difficulty that I hereby resign from my position as a student senator. I hope that one day I can return to student government on better terms. While I may not have faith in this body, I have faith in some truly good senators, and I would like to mention those people now. To Senator Little, now Chair Little, you have always demonstrated that you have pure intentions in this position. There is no one I have more faith in leading the investigative board than you. I hope that you can continue to do great things, and I know you will, and I trust you to finish what I could not. To Senator Leckie, Chair Leckie Griffin, thank you for being my guide, my mentor, my friend. You always had more faith in me than I did myself, and I cannot thank you enough for helping me through my term. To Senator Pendleton, my sister Sophia, thank you for always being there for me and for being my sister. I could not imagine being a part of this body without you. Once and always, we will always be Senate squirrels. To Senator Marcia, who is right next to me right now, actually, and basically lives with me at this point. Words cannot express how big of an impact you have made on my life. You saw me through my worst, both inside this body and out, and I would not have made it without you. To all my investigative board members and the members of Judiciary, thank you for learning with me and letting me lead you. It was an honor. Thank you all. I leave you with this. A once great senator and Senate parliamentarian said, "You are a person first, a student second, and a senator third. And if you change that order, the rest will fall apart." I have put Senate over everything else in my life, above my own mental health, above my chapter, above my academics. And I can't do that any longer because it has all fallen apart. Thank you, Jake, for those wise words. And I now understand the depth and true meaning of that phrase. And I hope you all grasp that as well. I truly hope that things change for the better and that faith in this body can be restored, both by the student body and by me. But for now, I never thought this day would come, but goodbye, everyone.
Well, you guys always just like to tear me apart during closing announcements. So we'll just let the next individual speak. Senator Gertz.
Yeah, so I would first like to provide my congratulations to Chair Randall. I have access to all of the emails as well as everything else that Chair Sohos has left. So feel free to group me and I can provide you all the information and help transfer all of that over to you. I would also like to express my sadness at seeing the departure of Senator Chabot, a truly great senator. But I would also like to take this moment to reflect, as I have been trying to do since returning to FSU as a grad student and having left my undergraduate career, and reflecting on what has occurred within these halls since about May. And I would like to take this moment just because I think it's important to really look at what has occurred, which is that we have seen people removed from their positions, both internal to the Senate and external, due to homophobic and transphobic behavior. We have seen conversations over victims advocacy. We have seen conversations over racial justice and racism within the Senate. And we have seen those evolve into varying ways of dealing with it, though I would note that LGBTQ+ students still have not a single plan from the executive branch, nor much at all from the Senate. I will still note that there is almost no communication on the small, if not insignificant strides, which I hate to even call strides, being made by members of the administration. I would like to note that in many ways, what happened was that we removed people, we had this issue, and then we decided that those who called it out, who called out the pain of the student body, were the ones deserving of retaliation, apparently a word I am now fond or associated with. And so I will just note, in my summation of watching it, that what has occurred is that something terrible has happened. A great deal of people have been insulted, have been denigrated, have been hurt, but not for the first time, rather in a series of cultural and systemic problems that have targeted LGBTQ+ students, that have targeted LGBTQ+ senators, that have fought and dogged me for months and years by people who pretended to be my friends. I have seen a Senate convulsed in cliques and convulsed in personal, I don't know, arguments, I don't know. But I've never seen in the past months a Senate that has even put an ounce of thought into what the student body is going through. Thankfully, I see it now. We are considering rent relief. We are considering the issues of the day. We are moving forward to some extent. But I will not be running for re-election in the spring. I'm not interested in continuing my work here past that, but I'm not going to leave because I would like to dedicate the rest of my time in Senate to never letting you forget and to never letting you forget what has happened, which is that we caused tremendous problems, that we hurt hundreds of people, not just within the Senate. No, we've hurt people in the Senate. I myself have been harassed, if not yelled at, or otherwise denigrated by people who are blatantly homophobic within this Senate. I've dealt with that outside of it. I have friends who've been harassed, who've received death threats, not from members of the Senate, but from students and from members of our FSU community. I have seen what it means to leave an N group of one I'm pretty sure you're all familiar. And I've seen how that's a double standard and how leaving that in group means that you are now the enemy. That when we remove people for homophobic remarks, the next obvious enemy are the queer people who called it out, the ones that don't necessarily agree with us all the time. We've seen that when racism and other issues are brought up, we make strides and we do good work, and there is good work being done. But at the end of the day, it's almost silent. We have not communicated with the student body. We haven't reached out to them to the same degree that we should. And there are great senators doing good work, but I wish together as a Senate, rather than just individual committees, rather than individual people, we could work together to resolve these issues. But instead of all that, my experience is to be reduced down, and the experience of many senators is to be reduced down to flagrantly disrespecting each other, to rolling our eyes at each other, to disrespecting Senate Hall of Fame senators, to disrespecting people who you all loved, who all of you loved, up until the summer that they called you out on your problems. And they called out this body on its problems. I know what it is like to be most of your friends. I've met most of you on the campaign trail. I've run many of your campaigns, if not all of them. And I would just like to note that that is the biggest mistake I have ever made, and that this Senate, that the student body president, that the executive branch and the judicial branch are all monuments to my sin of believing in you. And so I'm never going to let you forget that. And until the spring inauguration, I won't. With that, I yield.
So do any other senators wish to make a comment before I do my closing announcement? Senator Gonzalez.
Yes. Hello, everyone. I won't make this long, I promise. So honestly, like in an effort of transparency, the RIJ committee has been doing a lot of good work. And so today we actually went with Dr. Hecht and Dr. Bowden and Chief Brown about a couple of initiatives that we want to get started as it relates to efforts that have already been in place. But it was basically just a follow through of Resolution 80. So we basically talked with everyone today about how we can start creating relationships with FSU administration, the Division of Student Affairs, and even the chief of the FSUPD in general. So we talked about establishing a liaison, establishing a possible oversight committee made up of FSU students. And basically it was just kind of creating a relationship with the Senate and with SGA as a whole, with the Division of Student Affairs and with FSUPD. So I just want to update everybody because it feels like not a lot of people are talking. So obviously we kind of just want to start talking to each other and kind of acknowledge all the efforts that are already going on with different parts of campus and kind of bringing it all together so we are not working on the same stuff, but just making efforts in general as a whole, especially as an SGA body, towards the same thing. So we're gonna go a little bit more in depth about it in RIJ on Friday. So I suggest everybody come. But yeah, with that I yield.
Thank you, Senator Gonzalez. Do any other senators wish to make a closing statement at this time? Seeing none, I do want to just kind of say that we as a body have been through a lot. I think that that's evident through the senators who were here throughout the summer, through the senators who've been here at this time, and just overall, Senate has not been in a good place at all. Whether it's you as an individual don't feel like you're in a good place, us as a body, we're making strides forward, but we're still not at that level of effectiveness that I wish we were at. And that's not a fault of us on our own. It's a fault of just the reality where we are in time, the pandemic, the rise of racial tensions in this country. We are in a historic period of time, and I need us as senators to recognize that, take advantage of where we are in time, and take action, because we won't have this chance again in our lifetime. This is historic. I don't know if you see it how I'm seeing it, but it truly is. And at the end of the day, I want to make clear that disrespect is not tolerated from anyone to any other senator. Just disrespect in general is not something that's tolerated. And so if you feel as if you have been disrespected and you want to have a conversation about it, please come talk to me. I am open during my office hours. I'm open in general. And I just want you all to know that I'm a place for you to have a conversation if you feel like there's something on your chest, something on your heart that you just want to let out. Because I understand what it feels like to be where Senator Chabot is, to be at that point where she's ready to walk away. I've been at that point, and I get it. But it's how you choose to react. It's how you choose to respond and adapt to that situation. Where do you choose to put your efforts? Where do you choose to put your mind, your thoughts, your time? And so I urge you all to just think about that. Something I did want to bring up is that I'm working on having a town hall. I really want to try and have a town hall from this as a student senate to the student body in the first week or 2 weeks of October. I'm going to reach out to the rest of the chairs. I just haven't been able to get to it as like I wanted to, but we will be having a town hall just to inform the student body on what we're doing and have them ask us whatever they'd like to ask us, give them an opportunity to get what they'd like. And finally, I did want to mention that I brought up to the advisors that I think us as a Senate having a retreat would be imperative. That is something that is evidently needed. I don't know if you see the level of harm students first, but second, senators, us as senators are feeling. You know, the fact that senators are resigning left and right is not okay. The rate of turnover in this Senate has been astronomical. I've never seen senators resigning as quick as this. Never. So just think about that. Think about how people are not okay. Think about how you're feeling. If you're not okay, that's something you need to discuss. That's something you need to recognize before it gets worse. So please take this time to really just think about what is important to you, to your future. And, you know, reiterating the point of the retreat, we're hoping to have it, you know, in the next few weeks, hopefully the week after budget week. It'll be an opportunity for us to bond as a group, to let out and air disputes and tensions, and truly move forward. Because I'm tired. I don't know if you guys are tired, but I'm tired. I truly am. This has been one of the greatest experiences of my life, but at the same time, the worst. So let that sink in. Think about how something can be so great and so bad at the same time. Because I've dedicated my entire time being in the United States to advocacy and trying to give the voiceless a voice. And seeing so many people still feel voiceless today after everything I've tried to accomplish, everything I've seen senators try and do, is so disheartening. So please just, you know, look towards a brighter tomorrow. I know things can be tough, but please don't let yourself fall short. You know, you are your biggest motivator. At the same time, you're your biggest critic. So be kind to yourself and allow yourself to move forward. And lastly, I do want to reiterate the voter registration drive. It will be on Friday at 2 p.m. I'm going to be emailing a few people tonight to make sure the graphic gets around to as many students as possible. I will drop the graphic in the group chat, drop the information in the group chat, send it in the Senate email just to give everyone the information. And hopefully you guys can distribute it to as many people as possible so we can have an opportunity for Senate to educate students on their right to vote. We as a student government have been falling behind in that regard. You know, hopefully as well, I'm hoping to kind of set up not necessarily town halls, but maybe a panel of some sort with people who are running in local elections in Leon County and different things in that regards that I'm trying to work on to ensure that we as a body are educating students on their right and their power as citizens of this country and as citizens of this state. So I hope that you took what I said with, you know, with a sense of trying to understand where I'm coming from. Hopefully it helps you move forward. But with that, I do want to say, Pro Temp, did you have any final closing remarks? And then we'll go to our press secretary and our clerk.
Oh, I'm going before Tyler.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I started backwards.
Oh, that's okay. So there's a lot of words said tonight that I don't feel that I should comment on. Quite frankly, I think all the words that were said needed to be said. And I honestly do not want to diminish the experiences of others. So me talking about what I'm about to talk about is not in any way trying to disrespect anybody for what they have just said. However, congratulations to our RTAC chair who has been elected. Congratulations, you've been here for 2 weeks, which is awesome. You're already a chair. Welcome to Rules and Calendar. I was a former PAC chair, and it was probably the best experience. As great as Pro Tempore is, being PAC chair was the best experience because I got to interact with the groups on campus and students directly. I think you will really enjoy being RTAC chair. The logistical aspect of it will be a bit tricky, but you'll get the hang of it. But it's really great interacting with them. I've met so many people, a lot of people from the Law School Student Association, the Vietnamese Student Association, music groups, many different groups I mean, that's more packed, but like you will meet a bunch of different groups, which will be awesome. And you can explain to them, about student government and how we can help them, how we should be helping them. And then in regards to voting, or actually, I'll wait until the end. I recently had a talk with the Social Sciences and Public Policy College Leadership Council. I encourage those of you that represent a college of any sort, College of Business, Arts and Sciences, to reach out to those leadership councils, because I'm sure they are willing to work with you. Because I know, at least for College of Social Sciences and Public Policy, they really were excited to talk with myself, and they will be reaching out to the other senators. We'll probably be doing something with them, hopefully, if you guys are up to it. So yeah, I really think it's best to reach out to those organizations. Same thing with undergraduate studies. Although you're not really a college, you can reach out to the dean of the undergrad. I believe there's a dean of undergraduate students. Maybe reaching out to them would be helpful, and you could learn how maybe you set up a meeting with students, or a way for students to meet you. They can voice their concerns and whatever. Office hours, as President Darl-Deek explained, we have office hours. I sit there waiting for someone to hopefully pop in. I'd love to talk to everybody in Senate. I'd really love to share my knowledge of Senate, and how we could, or I or President Darl-Deek could help you with your goals. Maybe it's not how you thought it was originally, but maybe we could figure something out. And because President Darl-Deek and I can't work without you guys. We cannot move the Senate forward without the collective body of you guys, all of you all. And I think it's important for you guys to communicate with us. And I'd really love to see you on office hours. I know, classes, everything gets busy, but I have 3.5 hours tomorrow. I'll sit there, I'll wait for anybody. I would love to help you. It's from 2:30 to 6. And then in terms of voting, this is an important step into to making Senate a little more efficient on this whole new Zoom aspect, or Zoom platform. Our very wonderful Mr. Ben Young will be doing like a Qualtrics form that we can all vote in. It'll be secure because you'll be putting in your FSU credentials and stuff. That way I don't have to sit here, take pictures, and like wait like 30 minutes for a vote to be called. And that way tomorrow on Thursdays, I don't have to spend 5 hours on voting results, and then we can get our business done faster and more efficiently. Other than that, I hope you guys have a wonderful night. Sleep, sleep, and drink well. I don't know. And yeah, good night.
Thank you, Pro Temp. Secretary Shaw, did you have anything you'd like to say?
No, I didn't.
All right. And then Roy, Clerk Roy, did you have anything you'd like to say?
Yeah, good evening, Senate. I know there were a lot of things that happened in closing announcements. However, first and foremost, I just want to say it was definitely great still working in Senate with you and Senator Chabot. As I remember back when you were still went for the legislative aid position and were in Senate those first days. And it definitely is disheartening to see all of your optimism to be what ended up happening this semester. But I do hope that better times lie ahead, and I truly do believe in this Senate and all that it's capable of. As well, I wanted to say congratulations to our new RTAC chair. Definitely looking forward to continuing to do great work, because our student organizations really do help engage students perhaps the most out of any way on campus. So to continue advocating, continue letting people know the resources they have available, I hope that that's something that all of us senators, or all of you senators, can look into doing. And as well, for my weekly quotes, I wanted to give this one by Ken Blanchard. The essence of great leadership is influence, not authority. make sure to spread your influence, let people know of the power that they are able to gain here from our SJ and from our Student Senate. And I hope you all have a great night. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Clerk Roy. So with that, we'll go into our advisor announcements. Dr. B, Deshawn, did you guys have any advisor announcements you'd like to make?
No announcements from me. I just want to say, please take care of yourselves, self-care. And I think enough has been said tonight. So have a good night.
Deshawn, did you have anything you'd like to say?
I don't have any announcements.
All right. So with that, we will go into final roll call. Pro Temp, whenever you're ready. And then after that, we will adjourn this meeting.
All right. All right. Senator Adamik, Marcia Akonda Bateman. Adamik. Marcia Akonda Bateman. Senator Gertz, Little and Selva. Senator Gertz, Senator Selva. All right. Senator Fahey, Rossi, Mouget, Shaler. Fahey. Mouget, Shaler. All right, got Mouget. Senator Wilkinson, Promozic, England, Wang. Senator Wilkinson, Promozic. I got England and Wang. Senator Yanam, Rigadel, and Soto. Rigadel. Oh, you're here. I see. Okay. Soto, got you. Senator Lucky, Gonzalez, Denton, Martin. A. Gonzalez, yeah. Denton, Martin. Senator Adams, Pendleton, Abston, Ferguson. Abston, Ferguson. Oh, got Abston. Senator Mayman, Dean, Pedroso. Mayman, Dean. Senator Dean. Senator Medley Nera, Ross, Chabot, Kalink. Senator Alvarez, Waters, Stinson, Gonzalez. Senator Alvarez, you still there? Senator Waters, all right, got you. Senator Stinson, Gonzalez, R. Gonzalez. Senator Rudd, Randall, and Kill. All right, got Randall and Kill. All right, we are done.
Is there a motion to adjourn? Senator Pendleton.
So moved.
Awesome. With that, we are adjourned at 10:45 p.m. Have a good night, everybody. Hello? You guys hear us?
Hello. So Quentin,
we can hear you.
I don't know why his face is
I was trying to remove them. There we go. I removed everybody.
I put him in the waiting room.
Oh, I was I was removing. All right, so
Hold on, give me 2 seconds so I can stop this recording.